The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We are here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Defense. Alongside with me today, the hit squad, young RG Robert Garcia, the real AG Alex Givens, Coach Mike Dubb, and the NFL Nation Live crew, Violator, and Captain Jack Rackham. Gentlemen, what's happening? What's the vibes? What's the haps? What's going on out here? What's good?
Do I even need to say anything, Coach?
Vibes are great.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But I will say, we had probably the greatest stretch of 5 days of football, I think, between the college and these playoff games. It was very entertaining. I was here for all of it. So pretty hyped about the football we got to watch this last weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
I agree.
I mean, down to from college to the pros, it was great. I think we got started Thursday, we ended on Monday, and it was football, and it was good football every day. So, yeah, I definitely share that sentiment. I mean, you know, it seems like the NFL just wants to keep outdoing themselves, because on top of the nice games that we've got a bunch of firings and retirings and a lot of things happening in the NFL. So, yeah, no shortage of content and no shortage of news. So we will get to it all. We're going to talk about it all today. First of all, let's go around the room. Let's get a quick vibe check. Young RG, I know how you feeling, but let the people know. That doesn't share brain with you. Let the people know how you feeling.
Feeling slightly better today. That Greg Roman and the other dude, the O-line coach. I don't even want to remember. Yeah, Mike Devlin.
Named.
Sorry, I said it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Mike Devlin, Greg Roman, sayonara, get the hell out of here. It makes this pain a little more bearable, but still pain regardless.
Yes. Indeed. Captain Jack Rackham, what's good, sir? How you feeling out there in your nice Jaguar teal?
Yeah, and for those that are wondering, I have an assignment tonight, so it was actually just circumstance, or happenstance, I should say, that I was wearing this today, and then I thought, wow, it actually goes with what I'm supposed to talk about tonight, so I didn't change it for the show. I have my trusty Raider hat, and I have my giggling Goonie Goo Goo atmosphere from a certain team that I'm sorry, gagged again, but we'll talk about that later. So obviously the vibes are pretty good here, and as AG was talking about with all of the college games and all of the pro games, it actually means something good for Raider fans, that there's a lot of things out there, plus a quarterback that we could possibly take. And again, I say possibly because even the Raiders could F up the first pick. I'm just saying they can F up.
At least you admit that, because that's very possible.
I mean, hey, Cap, who was the last first number 1 overall pick they had? Can you just say it out
It
loud?
was Jabustus Russell.
Just Russell's.
But he could throw 70 yards from his knees. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, actually, the other first-round quarterback that the Raiders had before Jabustus was a guy by the name of Marijuanovich, or I mess with his name.
Todd.
But and the reason why he was taken first was because Al said that he checked with some guys to see how great he was within the USC program, and the scouts went up to him and said, well, who did you talk to? And Al says, Marv, who is Todd's father. So, just saying. And I hate denigrating the great Al Davis, but sometimes you really mess up.
He said his kid wouldn't do coke. What am I supposed to do? Not get him?
Wow. Just wow. Oh man. All right, AG, let us know what's going on in your world. What's happening over there in Chiefs Kingdom?
Hey man, it's we're just closing the book, just sitting back watching how these playoffs go, and I guess I have to feel kind of good that an AFC West opponent did not make a deep run in the playoffs. I'm also hoping the Broncos lose, but hey, I'm just calling a spade on that. But other than that, yeah, like I said, watching good football. Bummed my team's not in it, but it is what it is, and see what happens this offseason, man.
All right, Dub, you got a question on the board as well as how you're feeling, so feel free to address it accordingly.
Yeah. I mean, other than coordinator changes and the coaching carousel, which is the NFL's version of the, I guess the portal, the transfer portal.
Literally.
Mic drop. It is true.
But hey, other than that, it's not a whole lot going on for us right now. We got a divisional opponent that joined us on the couch, so that's always good. But yeah, I mean, as far as our coordinator situation, yeah, it seemed like Kingsbury and wasn't really feeling the. I think that is, it wasn't really feeling the development of Jayden Daniels and that whole situation. I think that's a lot to handle. Jayden Daniels is there's a lot that's going on around him. And I think Kingsbury, to be honest, I think he was outgrowing the offensive coordinator role. And I think that he's probably, looking for some development and some, not development, but really some growth in his career and looking for an opportunity. When you get a quarterback like Jayden Daniels, you want to be able to handle him the way that you want to handle him. And I don't think he had the autonomy to do that. So he's a good coordinator. I think he'll do well wherever he goes. But it just wasn't really a fit here in Washington right now, at least for the long term. So, and I kind of expected him to move on because I felt that, last year he was going to, he kind of put himself in position to get another job. So, I wish him the best. Like I said, no hard feelings. We're on search for another coordinator. We're going to see if we can get this thing rolling next year. So, we're here.
Okay.
And Mike McDaniel's available.
Who?
Mike McDaniel, yeah. Mike
Oh,
McDaniel.
yeah. I thought you said Josh McDaniel. I was like, who?
Well, no, not yet.
Who?
Not yet. No. The good McDaniel is available.
You don't classify Josh McDaniel as a good play caller?
Only in New England for some reason. Only in New
Good
England.
point.
Well, it's the only place he's been in OC, though.
That's true. That's true too.
Yeah,
That's true
yeah.
too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good
So we'll
stuff.
see what happens. Yeah.
All right, Violator, bring us home. Tell us how you feeling and what's going on in this lovely 13th of January.
Oh.
I think you're muted. Muted. Hold on.
You're muted, Violator.
I can't unmute. You gotta mute yourself.
Okay,
There we go. There you go.
my bad. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Great weekend of football, man. It felt like that Thanksgiving weekend lineup, college and pro, gives me some insight on the future of the NFL, the college playoffs. I can't wait till next Monday night to see our potential first-round pick go up against not Dante Moore, but the QB from Miami. So that should be a knuckle buster right there. Looking forward to that. But as far as the coaching carousels, it's never been more intriguing than this season. I see the league taking a younger approach. That's what my eyes are seeing. Everybody's trying to figure a way to move the old guys out of that spotlight and bring in some young, fresh blood. So that's the growth of the NFL. So I'm looking forward to that also.
I like it. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, man. I won't say I'm in a glass case of emotion personally, but yeah, I'm feeling better today than I was on Sunday. That's for sure. Yeah, with the performance the Chargers put up, it's good to see some quick and fast and swift accountability from Jim Harbaugh, and definitely saying that he know what the issue is, and he could really Ray Charles, God rest his soul, can see what the problem was, and he addressed it very quickly. So it'd be just interesting to see what they do in regards to replacing Greg Roman. And I think that, to share violated sentiments, I think they really should go younger, more innovative, more into the modern game of football. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the offseason. There's going to be some great content for us to break down week to week right here on this very channel on the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. So let's talk playoffs, man. Let's get into it.
Before anybody says, I apologize for that. That was a horrible impersonation of Ray
Stevie
Charles.
Wonder, dude.
Thank you. Now, damn it, that was my line.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus, man. Stop hitting my punchlines.
My bad.
Jesus.
I miss a lot. Me working the suit, I miss a lot. I didn't even see Cap doing anything. So
yeah, because you got the dark glasses on, man. It's like apropos.
I got soundboards, I got chat, I got headlines, I got a lot of things going on as moderator.
Yeah, so checking and a savings. He's got to move him over,
There you go, exactly. So I got things going on here. So I'm not watching you intently. So I'm glad you policed yourself and said that you know.
Well, as RG hit my punchline, never mind.
AG.
AG. That was AG, not RG.
I said AG. What are those G's? Not a spot. But one of those G's.
You got him flustered early.
The OG.
Indeed. But yeah, man. So let's get into playoff talk. Let's talk about these playoff matchups. Let's break them down. Let's get into it. So we're gonna start off our show as we appropriately do with our segment called Hit Squad Headlines. We're gonna get into some headlines and we're gonna break down the playoffs. So we're gonna get into it. So we're going to do Hit Squad Headlines. We're going to break down each and every playoff game in its entirety, and each panel member has it in their own game to break down and give you their quick synopsis on what the game was, what the takeaways were from it, and what they feel like the outcome was, and just give you overall understanding of what the game was and how did they enjoyed it. So let's start off with the first game of the weekend. We got the Rams and the Panthers, and RG. What do you think about that game? Give us your synopsis of that game and tell us exactly how you felt about it. Did it sway the way you thought it would be swaying? Tell us what your overall breakdown was in that particular matchup.
Yeah, it was definitely a fantastic game to kick off Wild Card Weekend. I mean, it definitely set the tone for what the weekend had in store for us. And I have two main takeaways from this one. So my takeaway for the Rams is Matthew Stafford is the MVP. And he deserves it because he had an MVP type performance in that game. Completion percentage didn't look great. Panthers defense is stingy. I mean, that is a very underrated defense. It's the reason why they're in the playoffs, if we're being honest. And they definitely gave him some trouble. He did throw the one pick, but besides that, threw for 300 yards, threw the 3 touchdowns. And he did get a little bit of help from the running game. Kyren and Blake Corum kind of split carries there, got about 50 yards each. Then Corum had 45 or something like that. Kyren had 57. So, he got enough from his running backs to produce. And Puka Nacua, man, I mean, he is just an animal. He is, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the league right now after this season. I know Jamar Chase, I know Justin Jefferson, but with the down seasons they've had, this one is, he's definitely got the honor of it right now. I mean, he has just been insane. And Devontae Adams, first game back, had some solid reps as well. So Rams did kind of what we expected them to do, which was dominate offensively and win this game accordingly. What we were not counting on, and this is my main takeaway from the Panthers, is the Panthers showed that they belonged in the playoffs. I truly don't think, I take that back. I truly think that if the Bucs made the playoffs, they would have gotten boat raced by LA. I do not think it would have been nearly as close as it was. I think this was the right decision. And as much as we talked about it last week, as much as the NFL really wanted the Bucs to win, or at least set up, the Bucs to make it, it was not meant to be. The football gods said no, and for the good reason. Bryce Young, hey man, he looks like he can be a franchise QB, first playoff game, really didn't show any jitters. If you're just stat watching, you didn't really think he had that great of a game. 52% completion percentage, 264 passing, the 1 passing touchdown, the pick he threw, of course. He did have a rushing touchdown as well, which was, Coach, you had mentioned it in our group chat. He's got legs, and right on cue, he scrambles for that long touchdown to end the half and, really put the Panthers in prime position to still be, contending in this game. So yeah, I think Panthers fans come away with this game extremely happy, extremely pleased what they saw in their young QB. And shortly after, they did pick up his 5th-year option, as to be expected. So yeah, I think this was, in a very weird case, a win for both playoff teams, even though one lost. Because on one side, you had the team that everybody expected to move on, is moving on. The MVP, who we all think will be the MVP, is moving on to the divisional. And for the Panthers, it was a team nobody expected to be here. I mean, the line was set at 10.5, so they truly did not believe this Panthers team could do anything going into this game. And they proved the world wrong. And props to them, man.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, it's funny too, because we kind of had a little bit of a hot ticket to start the season. The Panthers will make the playoffs. And although it didn't go as swimmingly as I thought, and they did make it, and they did impress. So
we said worst to first, and our 2 calls were Patriots and Panthers, and they both went worst to first.
They both cashed. It wasn't pretty for the Panthers, but
those very different journeys.
Yes. One was side high, one was kind of teetering on the line.
Yeah.
It was a little rough, but yeah.
I will say that actually that's a double duty on the teal. I said if the Panthers make it, they're going to make some noise, and they were about yay close.
It was
yay
tough.
close to doing it. And by the way, I actually won on that because I actually bet that they would stay within, and they did. I don't want to talk about the rest of the games that cost me a lot of effing money, but that one actually won.
Yeah, we only focus on the wins and we chase our losses. That is what we do in gambling.
Yeah. Well, what I need to learn is that as an old man with bad legs, it's bad to chase.
Yeah.
To chase.
Please gamble responsibly. We do not.
Yeah.
Insert
legal notice here.
Right. I need to put that soundbite up. Our gambling soundbite. Yes. I need to load
I
that
just
up.
covered it. We're good.
Good job. The lawyer took care of it. We're good.
Yeah, we're all right.
I like it. Okay, good stuff.
Legally speaking.
Good job. All right.
Allegedly.
There you go. Another one. Another good term. Indeed. All right, good stuff. But yeah, I definitely like the Rams and Panthers. And I like what Cool Kev said. Them playing, fighting with fighting that teetering on that line and kind of keeping it very close to the vest in a sense. They can't keep doing that because it's going to get harder and tougher as the games go on. So can't keep playing with fire because sooner or later you're gonna get burned. So
yeah, harder and tougher and playing with fire. These jokes write themselves, Coach.
Hey man. So we'll see what the Rams do next round because they got a tough one in Chicago. Cold when we sit. Should be a good one.
And I won on that one too.
Oh, you did pretty well for yourself there. That's 2 games.
No, the last games just tore my ass.
I was gonna say you started off hot.
Sunday was a different story. I get it. I get it.
I was looking good. Then all of a sudden, it was a freight train down the side of the Alps. Man, it was horrible.
In the snow. I like it.
Was it all like one parlay, Cap?
No, it was individual games, and then the parlay that really the one that was good was like on the first parlay I had the Bears winning, and I was like I can say I bet 54, which was like loose money, right? And then when I won that, I could have cashed out and would have won 100, and I was thinking about it, and then the second game, click,
said,
click,
we ride.
No, I let it ride, and I rode it all the way, like the guy with the cowboy hat in the movie about how I rode the down. Yeehaw! Yeah, it was bad.
Oh man. Okay. All right, good stuff. So let's move on to the next game on Saturday. Let's talk Packers and Bears. So Dub, give us your overall analysis on this particular matchup and how you felt about it, and did it go the way you thought?
Yeah, well, Cool Kev mentioned before teams living on the edge. I don't know if there's any other team that's lived on the edge as much as the Chicago Bears this year, and they did it once again on Saturday. Yeah, and of course, I mean, first of all, it's a divisional matchup, so you knew it was going to be tough. Even before the game, it was a little scuffle and some going back and forth, which you love to see in playoff football. It just some excitement was going, and then the Bears came out and laid an egg in a complete first half, and almost into the third quarter as well. So they got down big early. And I mean, I have an unpopular. I don't know if I even want to say unpopular, but I have a theory about the Bears and Caleb Williams. I think they prefer when they're the underdog, when they have nothing to lose, when they backs against the wall, because then he has a chance to just ball out and, just not manage the game, just gunsling it, do whatever he needs to do, which is where they have the most success. I mean, we talked about them earlier in the season, running the ball, how important that was for them. And it just looks like Caleb Williams gets bored with that. You know what I mean? Like, like it really does. It looks like he gets bored with it. He just wants to, throw the ball around and
run four verts.
Yeah, pretty much be a gunslinger, and it worked for them in the second half. Partially because their young core really stepped up. Colston Loveland looked great. Luther Burden had a game. Of course, the veteran Moore. Yeah, they got some dogs on that offensive side of the ball. Defensively, I was concerned with them giving up a lot of big plays to the Packers. The Packers, their receivers stepped up finally. We saw a big game from Golden. We saw a big game from Watson, aside from, the bonehead fumble at the goal line, which could have been disastrous, but they recovered it. But, I was concerned with the Bears and their secondary giving up a lot of big plays. It felt like they were gambling. Of course, they're a big takeaway team. So, they're just an all-in team. It's like they're going to go all in. They're going to gamble. They're going to go for the big takeaways, but they also leave themselves susceptible to big plays, which was surprising that the Packers couldn't put them away. So, the Packers just could not keep their foot on their neck. Second half, it seemed like they got a little bit more conservative with their play calling, specifically in the early downs, like first or second down, which put them in the, third and long situations where they couldn't convert and they just couldn't put the Bears away, which is the last team in the league that you want to leave lurking around. And obviously they were able to do that and, missed field goals. Packers missed the extra point, and then they missed a field goal towards the end that could have, put the game away or made it harder to get out of reach. And, in playoff football, your margin of error is just smaller and smaller and smaller. The Bears are just able to kind of take advantage of it. So, shout out to the Bears. It was a good game, but it wasn't a overly impressive performance because I felt like, they still left some room for improvement there. They're a young team, of course. Ben Johnson is, he's been around for a little while, has experience with a similar roster in Detroit. So maybe he'll find a way to put things together. But I think it's a tough matchup for them going against the Rams, and they're going to have to fix some of those mistakes, some of those turnovers, and definitely not get down in a big hole like they did this past week.
I like it. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree because I was talking to a colleague of mine earlier. He's a Rams fan, and I said, if y'all get up on them early, that's probably your best bet because it ain't but so many miracles they can cook up in the third and fourth quarter to bring them back from a large deficit. If you're up 28, 35 points on them because they starting slow with that offense, then that's going to be reap disaster for the Bears, in my opinion. So.
Absolutely.
Another team, riding that line, just straddling that fence. So sooner or later you're gonna teeter over to the wrong side. So
absolutely. And I will say, the Packers do a good job of getting after the quarterback, put pressure on him. Obviously you have to do that with Caleb Williams. He's going to want to scramble around, make some things happen. So the more uncomfortable you can make him happen, the better for the Bears. And I will give the Packers credit. They called a really good game in that first half. They had a good mix between, run and pass. So, if the Rams are smart, they'll look at the film, obviously see what worked for the Packers in the first half. They really could have put them away. Packers could have won this game. So, the Rams have all the cards in their favor to kind of take advantage of it. But listen, the Bears aren't here by happenstance. It's not luck. It's professional sports. They've earned their way here. So they have a chance to win as well, but they're going to have to fix some of those mistakes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because again, this game is going to be much tougher, and I don't want to say it's an indictment on Matt LaFleur because you and I are both coach. We know that that first half or at least the first quarter is scripted for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. So when you get off script, you have to make adjustments.
It's all scripted.
Nature, well, not the league. I'm talking about the game plan.
I know.
But yeah. So once you get off script, and what you do after that, is indicative of how well you coach in game.
Very important. Very
Yeah,
important. Very
so I
important.
think that's why people are kind of questioning Matt LaFleur at this moment because of how well or underwhelming he was in the second half and making his adjustments and making calls. So yeah, something to keep an eye on. But yeah, overall great game. Yeah, great analysis. Great analysis.
Appreciate it.
All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about the first game of the Sunday docket. Let's talk about Bills and Jags. AG, so what do you got for this game? What was your takeaway from this game? Bills finally got a road victory for the first time, and some people weren't even born last. They want to be right. Some people
since the Cretaceous period.
What in this millennium? I tell you that much. What in this century? So yeah. What is your takeaway from this game? How did you feel about it? What was your overall breakdown here?
I think my biggest takeaway from the game, and shamelessly, I will admit I wanted the Jags to win. I think a lot of us were probably rooting for the Jags, but
money-wise, definitely.
Hey, there we go. But I think the big takeaway is that going into the playoffs, I said I think the Bills could be a dark horse in the AFC side of things because they have experience. They've been there before compared to these other teams, and I think that was kind of the driving point at the end of that game, and that the team that's been in these types of situations before, albeit frankly on the opposite end of it, finally did it to another team to some degree in going down and scoring late in the game and somewhat closing it out. That's kind of, like I said, I mean, the Bills did what they needed to do when it needed to be done. They still played crappy run defense, pretty crappy defense overall, but they got turnovers when they needed to, and Josh Allen was Josh Allen when he needed to be. Controversial terse pushes or not, they still were moving the ball and putting points on the board when they needed to. And at the end of the day, I think experience is what won them the game because, watching the first half, like Jacksonville, it seemed like a pretty dominant game from Jacksonville's standpoint on the offensive side of the ball. They were running it a lot more, using Tootin and ETN, and then just kind of went away from that when it really wasn't like the game script wasn't calling to go away from the run. And I think that's kind of where the experience came in, and Cohen trying to probably do too much or over analyzing too much stuff, kind of like, the mystique. I think, Coach, you've talked about it before, like the mystique the Chiefs would have of like, oh, this is the Chiefs. We got to do this to go that extra mile and score. Well, the Bills are the Chiefs in this playoff scenario. They're the ones that have been there and been right there. So I think some of that mindset was like, what do we got to do extra to keep Josh Allen from winning this game? And they got too cute with it at the end, and it kind of blew up in their face. But, similar to what RG said about the Panthers, I don't think the Jags can really be like, too upset. Like, yeah, they lost. They were the higher seed and lost a home playoff game. But, I mean, they pretty dominantly won the South Division when it's, they haven't really been in that situation for, many years. And, have a new coach, seem to kind of turn the page on Trevor Lawrence a little bit, and I think have the pieces in place to, build from that end. So whatever moral victory there may be in a playoff loss, I think the Jags, got that like the Panthers did. But yeah, Bills is just, I think business as usual for the playoff Bills that we've normally seen. And Josh Allen was him when he needed to be him.
I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, RG. I think you have something.
I will say this. I called it. Before, when we were doing our predictions last week, I said the only way the Jags lose this game is if they take the ball out of their running back's hands and have Trevor Lawrence try to lead you to a victory. And what does he do?
Yeah.
Throws 2 picks and essentially ended the game on the first play of that drive that he had a chance to go down, at least get in a field goal range with Cam Little. Duke can hit it from fucking, oh shit, my bad.
Hey.
Not on Patreon, RG. Relax.
My fault.
Damn. Cool.
Duke can hit it from 80. Damn. So yeah, I just want to say I called it. Jags, don't hate me for it, but I saw this coming.
Looking at the box score, I was like ETN only had 10 carries whole game. Tootin had 4. And what are we doing? Tootin had 4 carries for 51 yards. What?
He had 3 carries back to back to back for 47 yards, and they're like, yeah, you're going to get the ball one more time after this.
That's too good. Stop.
I truly blew my mind.
Oh, yeah,
when
like I said,
saw that.
I that's the experience part. I think that came in and tried to overanalyze how do we beat the Bills, and ignoring the fact that hey, we're a dominant run defense, we have a great run offense, and we're at home. Let's take advantage of it.
There you go. Yeah, getting too cute will get you sent home. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you rather win ugly than lose pretty. Ain't that the saying?
Dance with who brung you. It's a lesson in life, y'all.
I'm saying.
Unless Bill Callahan says it before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
no.
No.
So it's hard.
And I was going to say, I know Violator knows that.
Yeah.
Duval.
Duval. That's funny.
These are savage.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, a little bit. They earned it a little bit. They earned it a little bit. So hey, they got to take their lumps just like everybody else, right?
Oh yeah,
you did get sent home. So yeah, and we'll talk about a little bit later what they should do in the offseason to get better. But yeah, I think I would say they should give a little bit of a moral victory too, because like you said, you know they haven't been relevant in quite some time. I think Leon Cohen has this team trending in the right direction. Just got to understand the quarterback a little bit better. You know, as long as things are going right and you have a good balanced offense, he's money. But when you got to rely on him too heavily right now, yeah, he can go off the rails. So we'll see how things shake out in 2026 for him. But yeah, things are looking up for Jacksonville. Hopefully. All right. So let's get into the next game. Let's talk about the middle game of the docket. So we got the 49ers and Eagles. Yeah. Later. So the 49ers Eagles games. Give us your breakdown of that game and your overall takeaways from that matchup.
First of all, I want to tip my hat to Robert Saleh and that Niners defense, which I call the Mash Club. They go into a packed, cold-ass Philly stadium and really just hit the bully right in the mouth from the jump.
They did.
I was surprised by it, but I wasn't surprised by it watching the entire game. That Eagles offense was very lethargic. They had no energy about them for being a home playoff game. They had no energy about them. And, even though the 49ers were, let's say, playing with one hand behind their back, so to speak, they mustered up enough want to go out there and take advantage of every mistake that Philly made. They basically shut down the running game, just shut it down. And when they did attempt to pass, Hurts was, to me, kind of off his game. He was off target. And one pass in particular that could have extended their drive, A.J. Brown dropped this pass. And consequently, him and the head coach have words on the sideline. So I'm saying there's something inside the building that, there's some dysfunctionality going on. But what I think it was just frustration from their offense coordinator, Kevin Patullo, I think I'm saying his name.
Who's fired?
Who was consequently fired after the game. But I think that real shakeup was that the Eagles took the Niners for granted. Now, even with Kittle going down early in the game with an Achilles, man, you hate to see that. But that team has some firepower and some, what I call it, old school want-to about them. It doesn't matter who they put out there. They seem to find a way to get the job done. Looking at the pass that Jawan Jennings threw to McCaffrey, I love it, which was like, to me, an old version of the Philly special. So they beat them at their own game, man. Great game to watch. Didn't expect the Niners to really come out of that hostile environment, but it just shows you on any given day, somebody going to take your lunch money, and the Niners did.
That's for sure. Yeah. Debo style. I mean, rest in peace, Tiny Lister.
Yeah, they got Debo. Yeah, they got Debo.
Yeah. So it's definitely as we can see that the offensive coordinator being fired today was definitely writing on the wall. And then we've been talking about it all year long, how this offense just has not, looked the part, since they lost Kellen Moore after the Super Bowl. And we got to have a conversation with Nick Sirianni about who he has in his Rolodex of offensive coordinators, because I swear it's a 50-50 crapshoot. It really is. You hit with one with Steichen and you lose. You look like crapping with the next guy, Johnson, whatever his name is. Then you get Kellen Moore, then you get Patullo. It's just a roller coaster of things, and it's all indicative of who the play caller is, because it's clear and obvious that the play caller is calling the plays. Sirianni doesn't have any involvement with it, or to a high degree, because it's all or nothing with who's calling the plays. And you look great, high-powered offense, running or passing, or you throw 4 verticals into cover 4 and you see what happened.
Yeah, you look at this whole coaching, like we call this coaching carousel, and there's an old saying, before you get rid of a guy, who do you have to replace him that's better?
Yeah.
And a lot of these teams are going to be like pissing in the wind this all season, hoping that they nail it with whoever they hire to replace all these exited coaches. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Yeah,
and I got to give Cap some credit. I think he was one of the first ones to say it publicly on the show that when you have an offensive-minded guy, make him the head coach so he doesn't leave. Because clearly, these high-powered OCs are getting head coaching jobs ASAP. The moment they hit and give them a couple years of high-powered offense, that they've been calling in the league, and they're putting up points left and right. And next thing you know, they're on the short list of being head coaches. So that's why I think the Green Bay will be doing himself a disservice by letting LaFleur go. I understand he has some shortcomings from a game management perspective, but damn, he's a great play caller. So what you don't want to do is clean house and be stuck in the mud and wasting the young talent that you have on the team. So I definitely agree that you gotta hedge your bet when it comes to that particular aspect of it, for sure. For sure.
One quick gambling note, and I'm sure that you guys will love this. A certain person that's in the other room said, I think the Niners are going to win. And I said, okay. So they gave me $5 in cash. So I went on the app, and I'm the one that lost my ass on Philly like 3 times, and like what do you call the double bets, and what do you the
discount double check?
Well, whatever the friggin' double bets are, lost my ass on that, and I had to pay her $16 out of the winning thing. So I paid her in cash because that's what she won. Actually, I still owe her a quarter, but it was $16.25.
It's the tax for using you.
Yeah, I'm the bookie.
That's the processing fee.
He wins on one bet for the first time ever using. Granted, she can't do apps, so I had to do it on mine. Right. I think I lost 150 on that game alone.
Oh, damn.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was. I was counting that. I was like, yeah, boy, and then like, suck. You saw
that red come up after them games. Like, damn it.
And that is how an addiction is born.
Indeed.
Hey, like I said, I can't. I don't have the legs to chase shit. So that was done after that. So, yeah.
Indeed. Okay. Cool, kid. That's hilarious. Oh man. Okay. So great breakdown, Violator. So we'll get into the primetime game on Sunday night. Chargers at the Patriots, and where do we begin with this particular aspect of it? It's not much to talk about, really. I mean, it was just a complete and utter defensive showing by both teams. Ironically, I mean, if you want to give credit to both teams, defense played great, on both sides of the football. It's just that one team left their offense at home, and one team didn't. So that's really what it broke down and boiled down to. And then, them being at home, having that home field advantage, and Jim Harbaugh making an uncharacteristic decision to not kick the field goal when they got a turnover early in the game, spelled disaster in a sense. I don't want to say the writing was on the wall then, but that goes back to the conversation about AG just had about making different decisions in the playoffs that you don't normally do. Because the rule is, and this is from a coaching perspective, this is from my rule that I was taught in my coaching journey, and anybody else that has, come up through the ranks here in the last few years, you take the points in the first half. You don't chase points in the first half. You don't. No. That's a Cardinal saying. I don't care if it's the playoffs, regular season, preseason. You don't change points in the first half. You take the points.
Especially if you force a turnover on their first drive.
You know how demoralizing it is for the other team when you get points off turnovers. So you got to keep the field.
Yeah, you always take points unless the situation calls for different. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't.
and it's late in the game. If you're down, in the first half, you still have the opportunity, more opportunities to come back. So you still don't really chase points in that space because, again, you're going to put yourself in more of a hole if you chase it and don't make it. So that was problem one for us. And then just the fact that, the line was, folding, faster than church chairs at the Sunday service, in every case that you can name, and this was the active team that we wanted to play. We wanted to play them because we weren't scared of their pass rush, outside of what the Jags had, what the Texans had, what Broncos have. You wanted to face the team as your first matchup because they didn't have the vaunted pass rush. But guess what? The blueprint in the diary was out on Greg Roman. They know that he doesn't have sophisticated passing schemes. One, he doesn't have quick developing routes. Two, so if you play man coverage and your line is terrible. Three, so if you play man coverage and to delay the ability for the receivers to get open, 1 or 2 seconds, guess what? The line is going to collapse. Justin Herbert's going to have to scramble, get out of the pocket, and try to make something happen. And quite frankly, they did a lot of great cage rushing for him. He didn't allow him to break containment a whole lot either. He couldn't step up because Milton Williams and company were just beating the hell out of Becton and Bozeman all night. So it was just a recipe for disaster. They took the Texans blueprint from last playoff game and this year's regular season game and duplicated it. Now, they didn't have the personnel that I believe that the Texans have, but they did a great rendition of it. And to put I guess you can say, ugly bow on this nasty-ass cake that the Chargers ate on Sunday is that they literally admitted to Robert Spillane at the end of the game and say that we were confused for the entirety of the game of what coverages you guys were in. That just can't happen in the NFL. Like, that's not something...
I wouldn't tell anyone that.
I would know. I would not admit that. First and foremost,
I knew what you guys were doing the whole time.
First of all, they play a lot of man coverage, so there wasn't a whole lot of guesswork there in the beginning. So they play a lot of man coverage, so there wasn't a whole lot of guesswork as far as zones. But when they were in zone, so if you can't glean or understand a little bit of their schematics from 17, 18 games they played in the regular season that you have film on, what are we doing here? Did you watch film at all? That's an indictment on the coaching staff in that space as well, because again, how do you not know what they're doing? It's like you're completely blindsided. You've never seen the team before. It's the first game of the year. There's a whole new regime, whole new coaching staff. You don't know what they do. You can let that excuse fly then, but you can't let it fly in the playoffs. You just can't. You just can't. So, of course, that was the result of the game. But again, outside of Drake May scrambling, he didn't have a great game, but they did enough with the offense doing nothing from the Chargers' perspective to win the game. And that's what happened. I mean, a 16-3, game when again, it wasn't a whole lot of scoring, but in the same breath, they didn't need to because the Chargers couldn't do anything at all throughout the entirety of the game from offense perspective. Couldn't run the ball, couldn't pass, just couldn't do anything at all. And that's what happened. So salute to the Patriots, get to the next round. But I will tell them, as a quick note, they're going to have to play a little bit better in the next round too, in order to advance, because the game they got to play next, get ready for that, because it's not going to be pretty. You think the Chargers defense was bad? Yeah, that Texans defense is going to be really, really ferocious and getting after you. So we'll see.
To your point, Coach.
So I guess you can say that having all those wins and being the lucky team actually didn't come back to bite them in the ass, right, Coach? That you were kind of saying that I don't know what the exact quote was. I'm sure you can do your own quote, because you were saying, well, they ain't all that in a biscuit and it's going to catch up with them. So I'm not rubbing it in. Actually, the only thing I'm rubbing right now is my friggin' hamstring. But the
is that what they're calling it?
No, it's hey. By the way, FFO. For those who do not know, since you guys are laughing at me, I have a big nasty cramp, which is why you see me grab that mustard, and I went off camera because I am not in a very good mood right now because it hurts like a bitch. But going back to the game, and again, I'm not rubbing it in as much as I said. Hey, it was a fantastic game. I was happy with the results, as I'm sure Mr. Gibbons was, but one of those things where I actually did predict last week. I said, no, I think the Patriots got this one, because you got the home crowd. You got a team that is just doing it all this year in the good spots, and I just felt it, and I was glad that I was right on the one game that I didn't bet. By the way,
How about
I'm
that?
shocked.
Yeah, I'm very shocked. Just your normal, disdain for the Chargers. I'm sure you would have bet against them, but I mean, overall, I think that again, the issue was what I started about. What was wrong with my take last week, and how I described the game playing out is the fact that again, what Greg Roman's play calling. You have to you can't keep doing the same thing, expect different results. It's the definition of insanity. It's why he doesn't have a job right now. Because again, you looked at the second half of it when they moved the ball a little bit, although they couldn't cash in the red zone towards the end of the game. Short quick passes when they were playing zone worked swimmingly. If you'd have did that and at least kick field goals, you kept yourself in the game and with opportunity to win it at the end. But you decided that you wanted to run these long, elongated, passing concepts that weren't going to get open because you didn't have enough time. Your O-line is the worst in the league. It actually is the worst worst O-line in history, which is something I don't want to be known for if I'm a team. I don't want to be any part of being a player on a team that had the worst O-line in the history of the league. And from the time, or at least from the time I've been living. So again, we didn't expect the line to completely fall apart. We didn't expect Greg Roman to call a completely shit show of a game. So yeah, I mean, it all fell apart. And again, that's why the O-line coach and him are looking for jobs right now. And I wouldn't hire him if I was desperate and homeless. So that's just
to your point, Coach, about watching film and what film did they watch? They were watching last year's Chargers Patriots game film because that's what Greg Roman trotted out there, and he thought they were playing the Patriots of last year. And
that was a whole different coaching staff.
Completely different coaching staff, completely different roster. That's a rookie Drake May. I mean, yeah, you get that turnover to start the game, and your play call within the 10 is scramble, design QB run, scramble. Those were the 4 plays that essentially happened because the routes were atrocious. You have receivers running in the same zones, not getting separation because it's just the most basic route concepts possible. No imagination, no innovation in the offense, just as vanilla as it could get. I thought I was watching a preseason offense out there.
Yeah, exactly. And again, how do you have that type of performance or have that type of intel with 17, 18 games of film on this particular team? You don't watch the film from last year when there's a completely different regime. You watch film from this year and get their tendencies from this year. Because they definitely were doing that to you. Not as if the blueprint wasn't out on Greg Roman already from last year, and he didn't do much to change that narrative. But again, if you want a complete and utter synopsis of what the team's doing currently, you watch current film. I mean, I thought it was, simple logic to me. But again, I'm not going to belabor the point. I mean, I'm going to cover this on the Lecture Shop podcast, shameless plug. So check that episode out for tomorrow. But and I'll break this down in depth and what we're going to do about Greg Roman's replacement. But yeah, just a complete and utter travesty. And I'm glad that Jim Harbaugh learned from his mistakes and didn't remain overly loyal to people that weren't serving him, and he got rid of him in due time. So.
Hey, Brendan Carroll is available for your offensive line, by the way.
I don't want anything to do with anybody from the Raiders, sir. Anything to do with anybody from the Raiders, especially with last name Carroll. No, thanks.
I just had to say, if you think your offensive line coach was horrible, at least he had credentials. I'm just saying.
That credentials is falling apart at this moment. But anyway. So, all right, so let's talk about the last game of the weekend. Texans and Steelers. Cap, tell us how you felt about this game. What was your overall takeaways in your analysis of this game, and how do you feel like it went?
Well, okay, this is my impression of Stroud with the football.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
I'm just saying. And he played great when he needed to, but honestly, if it wasn't for the Texans defense, as we've alluded to several times in this show, which scored not 1, but 2 defensive touchdowns at the very end to lock up the game, this game was touch and go and whatnot. And it was, I mean, honestly, it was, can I say it was boring?
Yeah.
It was boring.
It was.
I mean, and that's not me being mean. It's just that,
I was being honest.
Yeah, I mean, it was a defensive ho-hum game, but it was a fun
That's how
defensive
most Steelers games are.
I like
though.
defense ho hum though. I like defensive ho hum. Yeah.
Sometimes.
I mean, it was good for that respect, and thank God they had the 2 defensive touchdowns at the end, which spiced it up, especially and seeing, and I'll tell you what, man, if you think that old boy Rodgers is coming back for another year after he got schwacked again and again and again, he's still being sacked right now. And from dudes on the Texans, great to see Danico Autry, a former Raider, getting some flowers for his part. Great older defensive lineman, but that defense is just stacked.
It really is.
And then you had the interception 6, and I tell you, it was great that the defense saved, and I appreciate that. The defense saved the Texans from themselves, and I think that they're going to have to. The defense might do it again, because I don't know if Stroud. I mean, if you go Stroud versus May can put up some points. It's going to come to the defense of the Texans to try to avert that. So it's going to actually. That's a really, really good game next week. Is the Texans defense rolling in to New England? And might be whoever wins that can take it, because the Bills playing. Who are the Bills playing?
Broncos.
Yeah, I think that the winner of that game between the Pats and the Texans is going to represent the AFC. That's just me.
Really? Okay. A little bit of hot tech early. Okay.
Little spice.
Go
Yeah.
Spice.
The spice.
Little. No, I don't do spice, man. My stomach is hurting right now.
To piggyback off Cap, what I noticed from that game is that the Texans came out with running the ball, moving the ball, and they were doing it effectively. But then, like we said, they went and got cute and tried to change up and go with a passing game, and they weren't very successful with that. Besides CJ seemed a little bit tight to me, I think, from the whole essence of where he was at that day, because he settled down in the second half, but they reverted back to running the ball, which shortens the game naturally, and it kept the defense rested. When they came out, they were like hungry dogs, man. Ears pinned back, going after anything with red blood in it. So that may seem boring to most people, but it's basically that's the chess match. You bring a run game and a stout-ass defense, and you go up against anybody.
Yeah, they were hungry dogs, and Rodgers had a pork chop around his neck. Because
that's what that was.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He was already making his schedule for his peyote, shack thing.
Ayahuasca retreat. Yes,
I call it peyote. I don't know what the hell it is. He's smoking something literally, and he ain't coming back from that shack anytime soon. He's like,
especially with Tomlin gone. Yeah, there's no coming back to Pittsburgh. I'm pretty sure of that. Okay. All right, good stuff. So that's our breakdown for the playoffs. And so the divisional round is going to come up, and we'll get to those predictions here in a little bit. But I want to get into another topic here in regards to teams that were eliminated. So, teams that were eliminated obviously have some thinking to do, and some teams, like the Chargers, have already made some changes, wholesale changes in regards to their outlook for next year. So let's talk about a segment called "Where Do They Go From Here?" So what are these fallen teams going to do coming up in the offseason to, air quote, make themselves better, give themselves a better showing, maybe allow themselves to have a better performance and maybe go further in the playoffs next year. So we're going to go through each team, and each panel member has a team assigned to themselves. So we'll run it back with Cap right now and talk about the Jaguars. So what do you think the Jaguars need to do in order to improve from their performance from 2025 going into the next season?
Thanks for that. And again, look, this is the teal. This is why I wore it. Okay, it double duty. I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers as well. But honestly, wow, if it hadn't been for, was it Jacksonville Jesus effing up in the end, and kind of choking in the end, throwing picks. And I just think that he needs that extra receiver, because you saw what Captain Kirk did when they got rid of him and he went over to the Texans. Okay. And he was that receiver on that team last year. That's who Jacksonville got rid of, right? So they obviously got the Hunter in the draft, and he's going to be something which they can build on next year. And I tell you what, if he's smart, he will pare down to say, I'm going to be a wide receiver. Okay. Yeah. Or if he says, I want to be a cornerback, but don't do both, Hunter. Don't do both. Okay. Even though your coach did it in the pros. Yeah. Even though your coach did it in the pros but he was still mostly a D-back. Okay. He went in and did some things. They need that extra wide receiver in Jacksonville. They said, because they're needing that guy. And they got, the capabilities to do that. They have a great running game, which they need to use and continue to use. What was it? Etienne and Tootin, I believe, are the two gentlemen that are doing it. Yep. When it works, that's the old expression. If it ain't broke, don't effing fix it.
Yeah.
If you're running it down their throats, take the ball out of God's hand or Jesus's hands. Okay, sorry, God, I didn't mean to get you on now. Jacksonville Jesus, take it out of Jacksonville Jesus's hands on a running play. That's most that he should be doing, because he does have the capabilities, Lawrence, to throw the ball. But I would just I would do the old remember the Titans, like old Denzel said, just keep running that draw. It works. It's like Novocaine, just give it some time. And then when they're not expecting it, then he can also be sunshine, just like in that movie, and then throw it over the top when need be. But they should be primarily a running team that sets up the pass. And I think that Cohen will do well with the Jaguars. He did well with what he did with Baker last year in Tampa Bay. He's going to refine Sunshine a little bit better, or Jacksonville Jesus, pick a name. But they will be just as good next year. And I know that they were kind of like, wow, they came out of that division like a shot, and nobody was expecting that. But all they have to do is continue to do what they did this year and build on it, okay? And Cohen is a very good coach. You got him at the right time. But you know what? Run the friggin' ball. Get another receiver. Make sure Hunter plays one side of the field and not, or okay, he can come in on special plays, fine. He can be that gadget receiver or run a 9 pattern when needed or whatever, but do not overtax him, okay? And they got a kicker that can kick it from the moon.
Right.
Okay. So they even got that in their arsenal.
There you go.
So use it. Don't get cute. Kind of like, like Stroud and the Texans were getting cute on like flea flicker plays that end up in a fumble. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't get cute. Keep running it down the throat. And until they stop that, there you go. And their defense is very good.
It is one of the best in the league, especially against the run.
Yes.
Again, we talked about last week. They were primed to beat this team because they lined up well against them. They were really good against the run, and that's what Bill's bread and butter was. Again, it's the running game and hero ball with Josh Allen. That's their game. So if you're really good at stopping the run, you're already going to take one advantage away from them. So, then just dealing with Josh Allen is going to be the delineation, right? But to put in context about this running game, now this is worse than I thought. I didn't even look at the numbers until now. But Bashaw Tootin was averaging 12.8 yards a carry. Travis Etienne was averaging 6.7 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm.
They only had 14 carries between the two of them.
Sin.
Cardinal sin. 7 deadly NFL sin. That is insane.
Wonder how many were in the second half too.
I would need to look that up.
I guarantee you, Tootin only had one carry It was either 0 or 1 carries in the second half. I'm telling you, dude had 3 straight runs and got 47 yards in 3 straight runs. And you're like, one more carry for you.
Right.
Let's see if I can quickly confirm that.
Yeah. So
that's the definition of getting cute, though. When you've got all the weapons that you really need for that game, use them.
One rush in the third quarter.
Terrible.
Indeed. That's just tragic.
And as we stated, they boxed up the Bills. They boxed up the Bills. They couldn't run. The Bills could not run on them, and they were running on the Bills. So why get away from something that works? Why?
To Cap's point,
overthinking it.
To Cap's point, longest rush the Bills had 11 yards.
Yep.
Wow.
5 rushes. So they had 6 carries in the second half.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The Bills ran the ball 26 times between Josh Allen and James Cook, and they both had 3 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Josh had 11 carries for 33 yards. James Cook had 15 carries for 46 yards.
But they stuck to it.
They did. Was there one playoff game where they had like 1 yard rushing up into like the third quarter and they broke a run or something crazy like that? You got to stick to it sometimes. You just got to stick to your guns. Got to let them know it's still there. That kind of thing. But yeah, that's
also shout out Khalil Shakir. 12 targets, 12 receptions.
Yeah.
Hats off to you, sir.
Yeah, 82 yards, absolutely. Yeah, and then again, Washington's breakout game was 7 receptions for 107 and a touchdown. That's crazy. It's crazy business. But that's why they lost the game. So we'll see. But I think they got the weapons. I think they need a tight end maybe. Got to resign Etienne. I think he's up for contract, but I don't think Trevor Lawrence, because he's been with him since college, he's going to let him walk out the door, even if he has to pay him himself. So I think Travis Etienne comes back. But outside of that, just run it back. And I think Travis Hunter needs to play corner. I think they need him more at corner than a receiver with them getting Toby Myers.
And that's why I said they're a package deal. They've been playing it together since Clemson. They were 1 and 2 when they drafted them. And it just the way it is that they feed off each other. That's a great portion of that team. Actually, the one thing that and this is not stated, a lot of people don't remember this, but that team needs to figure out that they need to stay in Jacksonville and not be bounced between the United States and UK, which has been one of those things. I think it actually hurts them. I know that Shad Khan was the reason why people were saying that we're going to push this over to Europe. He's the guy, because Shad Khan has his soccer team like Glazer has his soccer team. They're both Manchester teams, by the way. And he says, well, look, I got a football team too. But you know what? Glazer at least figured out that he won't admit it to Tampa, but his money's all on soccer overseas. And maybe that's where Shad Khan's thinking that he needs to do. But you know what? He has a better team in Florida than Glazer does in Tampa. He just needs to make sure they are building a new stadium. Okay. And maybe that will be the impetus to keeping that, get some more fannies in the stands, because it's unfortunate. Well, not fortunate for me when the Raiders go there, because it's almost like a semi-home game. Yeah. Right. We don't have very many home games other than we played the Al Be Kind coach when we played the Chargers. Okay, that's like a home game for us. I didn't call you that G word. I didn't say it. I'm gonna give you a respite because you're hurting tonight. But the point is that getting a home game is what they need, and they need to have the consistency of that Jacksonville crowd. And it's been building up. They need to just let it flaunt or let it flourish and keep it going.
I like it. Yeah, because build on what they have going. They won a division. They had a playoff game, hosted one. So yeah, build on it. Definitely build on it. So we'll see how things go. But him building a new stadium should back into it like Jerry Jones did, because he got to make that money back, right? So hopefully he will, pick up on the team and pay more attention to them. So yeah, I like that idea. Okay, so let's talk about the next team on the docket. Let's talk about the Eagles. Dub. So what do you think about the Eagles and them losing? Clearly, Kevin Patullo got fired today. So what do you, outside of that, what do you think they need to do to improve their chances for 2026?
Well, that was the first step. Something had to give. And listen, I know that they die on the hill that, everything is fine and between, AJ and the rest of the team. And I mentioned this last week. They remind me of the Sopranos because they're so dysfunctional, and but at the same time, they're a talented team, probably still one of the most, if not the most talented roster in the NFL, and probably one of the deepest rosters when it comes from to depth. They have a lot of young guys, especially that defense tied up, and the secondary. I think they had two all pros just in the secondary alone. You know what I mean? So like, this is a talented team. That's hands down. That's not a question. The problem is, they got to figure out a way to put things together and be consistent on the offensive side of the ball. They got to figure out what Jalen Hurts can do, and how they're going to put him in best position to be as successful as he can be, without hindering him and without kind of exposing him to his weaknesses. I think by now you should probably know what he's strong at and what he's not strong at, and unfortunately, I don't think it really bodes well for AJ Brown's skill set. When they're the most successful, he's getting the least amount of targets. And that's not an indictment on his ability, and not to say that he's the reason behind it. I just don't think it's a good fit, for his skill set.
Okay.
I really don't. And the thing is, I mean, if he's okay with his career going this way, then sure, he can make it work. But clearly, there's been some type of dissension. There's been some type of disagreements. There's been, that last year they brushed it off about him reading a book and all that. I don't care what anybody says. You don't pull out a book in the middle of a football game if you're not. That I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
That was a positive
cleaned it up.
they tried to put on that.
Yeah. Good job. Good job, PR team. And last year it saved them because they won the Super Bowl and it was working for them. But they can't keep going like this. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want the rest of his career to go like this. He shut, he bit his tongue, did what he could, as long as they were winning. But I don't think this is going to bode well for them. Now we'll see what their direction they're going to go with the new coordinator. But to be honest, I don't think that they're going to be a team that's going to, get him 10 plus targets a game, just because I don't think that's Jalen Hurts' game. I think that they got to be more of a run centric, more of a West Coast team. Use the run to open up the pass every now and then. But to be honest, I don't think that they're best fit for AJ Brown's skill set. I think that it's probably best for them to move on. Like I said, and not because of, not saying that AJ Brown is the reason why they didn't win or, the drop paddle. No, it's not his fault. I just don't think it's a good match for them. They tried it. They got a Super Bowl out of it. All right, it didn't work. Now it's time to move on. Now they made the switch at offensive coordinator. It's do or die now, of course, for Sirianni. If they don't, go make a deep run next year, I think that they're going to make a change at the, the offensive, at the head coach position as well. But it's not a dumpster fire because clearly, like I said, they still have the most talented roster and the deepest roster in the NFL. But it's definitely do or die as far as, somebody's got to make some tough decisions in that locker room and in that organization. I think Sirianni has to get a little bit more hands-on when it comes to, play calling or whatever the case is. And I'm seeing like a theme with a lot of coaches this year is that a lot of head coaches are being like kind of hands-off when it comes to their coordinators. And it's costing a lot of them, some games. It's costing them some questions. There are a lot more head coaches that are kind of turning the reins over to their coordinators and letting them do their thing for better or for worse. And I think that was the case in Philadelphia. So next year, if Sirianni doesn't step in and be a little bit more, assertive as far as, calling this game or putting his team in situations where he knows their best fit, then we may see him out of a job, sooner than later. So, the Eagles have some things to work on. It's very reasonable that they could turn this around and be right back in the Super Bowl. The same thing happened to them 2 years ago,
right?
Where they could easily turn around and be right back in the Super Bowl next year. So if I was an Eagle fan, I wouldn't be panicked, but I would have to see some type of urgency as far as the head coaching starts there. But to be honest, I think maybe they have to explore what's going to happen with AJ Brown. And I got to keep saying this because I know the first thing that everybody's going to say is, why trade somebody? It's not an ability thing. It's not because, he's not good and not producing or anything like that. I just don't think he's best fit for what the rest of their personnel is, specifically Jalen Hurts. I don't think that they're an aired out team. I don't think he can feed him as many targets as he needs to get fed or as he deserves to get fed for his skill set. So, let's see what New England's talk about. Let's see what some of these other teams are talking about. Maybe they can get some good, prices for him. As a Commander fan, I don't want to see it, but
Of
You know,
course.
just you know what I mean. But just calling it how I see it. I think that they probably should explore, moving him and just finding a better fit.
Piggybacking off you, Coach Dub, what I noticed about Philly in that game was that you don't see Hurst using his legs as much, so he seems more robotic to me as he operates, and that was kind of like throwing the offense in some kind of a funk. It was almost predictable, to be honest, and they were determined to shut down
Saquon.
Saquon.
Yeah.
They were determined to shut him down. So then you got the tight end out there making some catches. But like you said, when it comes to feeding A.J. Brown, he's like a high, not high maintenance, but you got to feed him a lot. And he's not in the right offense for that. I could see him flourishing more in Buffalo.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe.
For sure.
Not a bad take.
Yeah.
That's not a bad take.
Yeah.
Plenty of targets to go around there.
Yeah. But does he have a chick like Cardi B to go with him too?
Oh Lord.
Not yet.
Yeah, not
yet. Give him some time.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah, I mean, they're out there.
You got some commercials this year, so we got national exposure. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Right?
Two things from the Eagles game that I had. Now, did y'all realize that Jalen Hurts has had 4 offensive coordinators in 5 years as a starter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Definitely,
Number one,
definitely.
It's hard to get continuity and build chemistry with you keep changing offensive coordinators every freaking year. That's one thing. And if Nick Sirianni is smart, he would be very careful about who he chooses the next OC, because if you think that you have a longer runway because you won a Super Bowl, ask Doug Peterson.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, there you go.
Not in Philadelphia. Some cities maybe, not in Philadelphia.
Right. And Ty Roseman will make no bones about moving off of you if he feel like you're not going in the right direction. So yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely that.
Especially with all the talent that they have amassed.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to waste that talent because again, you can't
and
pay
all the money.
Yeah, right.
Tied up in it. I mean,
exactly.
They have to.
Yeah,
they got to be successful now.
Now it's definitely a win.
I was going to ask. Ironically, you brought that up, but I was going to ask to the panel. I mean, how much of this, how this season went, how much of that blame falls to Jalen Hurts himself? Because I mean, he's had plenty of games where he's not completing passes in whole halves of football. I mean, you got LaShawn McCoy dropping, probably for some clickbait, but dropping on his podcast that, he talked to people in the building that said part of what the problem with their offense is they can't do exotic stuff or all these audibles because of Jalen Hurts. So it's like, does some of that fall to him, kind of like we saw with Carson Wentz when things were going bad, or, Nick Foles?
I mean, the quarterback has to wear some of that, in my opinion. But I mean, again, back to my point about he keeps changing coordinators. How do you get, really, really comfortable in the offense when it keeps changing?
I know, I get that, but at some point when you pay someone over $200 million to play quarterback, you should expect there should be at least a baseline of stuff you can get out of him on a game-to-game basis.
Return on investment, yes, sir.
Yeah, ROI.
ROI. There we go.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Now here's something that I'll throw out.
They can go, as my new hat says, they can go get Kyle Schwarber.
Oh Lord,
to throw some bombs.
What you got, Dub? What'd you say, Dub?
No, I was going to say, in the event that, and this is just a name I'm throwing out there, in the event that Cliff Kingsbury doesn't get hired for a head coach, I'm curious, if they would, if Philly would try to make a run at him.
They would. That's addition by subtraction and the side.
You know what I mean? And it's a mobile quarterback. There's a lot of different, situations that you would throw out there. But I don't, and I heard what LaShawn McCoy said. I don't know exactly what he meant by, audibles, if he means that it's a concept thing, like Jalen couldn't get the concepts, or is it that he can't make certain throws? Yeah, I don't know exactly what he meant by that, but I don't buy it if it's talking about like he can't understand the concepts or he can't grasp the concepts or it's a mental thing. The biggest thing that I see from Jalen Hurts is he can't make throws that he needs to make when he needs to make them. So even on that last drive, they had a chance to win the game, and the last play of the game was just some air throws, some inaccuracy. So that's the biggest thing that I see. I don't know. That might be what McCoy meant by it, but for them, ironically, it really comes down to the run game. If you get behind the sticks and you're not able to get a consistent run game, and then now you're in 3rd and long, and you just can't make those throws, and it's just predictable. You become predictable at that point.
Yeah, I agree with the shady. Yeah. Well, and I think some of it too, when you watch, like when they had Steichen, it was a very RPO heavy, like ball was out quick, offense. And then they kind of never went back to that, like never really found a coordinator that had that same, baseline philosophy, if you will. And then they've like added pieces to try to become more of this over the top explosive offense and Jalen Hurts is not that type of quarterback with that arm. Like he's a mobile guy. He's, like a Kyler Murray or someone that's mobile, gets the ball out quick and can, buy time with his legs. But I mean, you don't expect him to hit 80-yard bombs consistently over the top to AJ Brown. And it seems like in the last couple of years, that's what they try to do. Like just run the ball and get people to come stack the box and then try to hit people over the top. And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Not at all. So I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Kingsbury, but that may be a fit. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, like I said, even you can call up Brian Daboll if you don't get a head coaching gig either. That'd be hilarious. Him get Saquon back in that offense and in that roster. Well, why not?
Why not? See Saquon being like, if you hire that man, I'm out.
I mean, do the guys? They don't have an issue with each other, do they?
I don't know. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So I think Saquon,
I think he has issue with
Saquon. Actually, he wanted to stay. He actually wanted to stay in New York.
I mean, we saw all that quite literally in real time on Hard Knocks. So
exactly. Okay. All right, AJ, you up next. Let's talk about the Panthers and what they need to do to improve in their season for 2026.
One thing, Dub, who's Philly's other running back? Because I think that maybe they need to use more.
Yeah, Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, they need to have either give him
traded
more. Yeah, give him more of a play because people are just keying on Saquon, and they actually if they think that much of him. Notice I asked, so I didn't know who the hell it was. They need to get him more involved in the offense. Just my opinion.
Yeah, they got to be more creative in some different ways. So that's one way.
Yeah. Okay. All right, AJ, you up. Let's talk about the Panthers and what you feel like they need to do to improve in 2026 from their run in this year's season.
Yeah, so kind of piggybacking off what RG said about the Panthers, looking at that Rams game, I think they have a lot of pieces in place. They proved a lot of things this year. I mean, they were in the playoffs for the first time in 8 years, won the NFC South for the first time in 10 years, and had pretty much a perennial Super Bowl favorite on the ropes in the opening round when nobody expected him to. And so, I think looking at their free agents, they don't have a lot of big free agents. I mean, outside of Rico Dowdle, who was kind of a one-off signing anyway, because they got Hubbard to that big extension. So you could kind of see, I think Coach even mentioned it as we saw, maybe this was on our fantasy show. Sorry, Kev, I triggered you there, but
I was waiting for the F.
Yeah,
the other F word.
I got to get one out every day, every show. But we kind of
get an F word out every show, but they tell me I'm not supposed to.
Oh, you can now. No. But I mean, we saw them, do that as the year went on. It depleted his carries. I think they kind of knew where their future building blocks were at. But big thing. I think Bryce Young proved a lot of doubters wrong this year, especially in that playoff game. I mean, I know in our chat I was like, man, he is making every throw. I mean, quite so. One of the touchdown he threw was 110% perfect throw, the only place the ball could be thrown, and he did it. So, I mean, they have the tools there. It's just a matter of building around that and taking that step forward this next year. I think the big thing from the offensive side of the ball, they're going to need to figure out who's that running mate that's going to be with Hubbard. They now, unfortunately, are going to have to figure out what they're going to do with left tackle because, I mean, they had a pretty good left tackle. They spent a really high draft pick on. He's about to enter his 5th year and just tore his patellar tendon in that game. So, I mean, pretty good chance he's not even playing this next year. So, You know, do they look at just moving on and do that early or not? But I think that's got to be priority one, is solidifying their offensive line just to help Bryce, you know, take that next step forward. Probably get another decent wide receiver option because, you know, out of Leggett and Jimmy
Coker?
Horn. I always want to say Joe Horn, but I think it's Jimmy Horn, right?
Jimmy Horn,
Yeah. I mean, those two I think have shown that they're not really going to be anything other than, you know, just kind of get you one catch a game here. I think Coker's probably emerging as a wide receiver too, but they're going to need to get another option just to continue to build off of that. Defensive side of the ball, I thought their defense is kind of sneakily elite, you know, for I guess lack of a better word there. I mean, they have a lot of good pieces. From just moving on from Brian Burns, like they got a pretty solid pass rush that's filled with a lot of rookies. So I think they just need to continue building on that. They're going to have about $50 million in cap space. You know, what Dan Morgan's in his third year of GM, and we've seen kind of that progression every year. So I think overall it's more of a fine tuning than having to drastically overhaul any component of their offense or defensive side of the ball. It's just adding the right pieces to it to continue the momentum.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Okay. All right, Violator, you're up next. Let's talk about the Steelers, and they got a lot to talk about in regards to what's changing in 2026 with Mike Tomlin resigning and Rodgers likely not coming back. So what do you think they need to do to improve outside of rebuild?
Now, we're talking about a team that's defined stability.
Yeah.
Now, let's see what the Rooney's got cooking now, because like I say, with Mike Tomlin resigning after that loss, we're not knowing what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, whether he's going to walk off into the sunset or come back and try it again to finish what he started, so to speak. I see them needing a lot of O-line help. They've got Metcalf, but they do need another top receiver. That's what I'm saying that they're missing, because they're one-dimensional, and guys double bracket Metcalf and get him frustrated, and he's off his game. I'm noticing that players get in his head real easy, sort of like fans do. But definitely O-line help. They and that aging defense, Cam Hayward, you know, old Graybeard himself, he's still a rock, but that rock is chipping away. Linebackers, they need some more depth there and some more blue chip guys in the linebacker. I think corners, they're pretty good, and safety, they could do some improvement in. But their main thing is getting that old offensive side of the ball fixed. And now you're looking at maybe potential new OC, new head coach, and big question mark at quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that was all things true. And I wonder, I guess it's going to depend on what the coach is or who the coach is going forward, what they would do at quarterback as far as resetting. I mean, I've been saying for years that they need to stop kicking the can down the road and just invest in a younger quarterback and build around them. But you know, again, you got to be, because again, I think they should have took a swing at Jackson Dart this year. They were prime ready to pick their pick, and they didn't take him. So you know, again, I think they need to finally take a swing at a younger guy, and maybe the new guy would finally do that. But
maybe that was some of Tomlin stepping down. You know, they're kind of pressuring him to get a quarterback, and he's like, I don't want a young guy, I want a veteran.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's all speculation, obviously, but
yeah. But we
haven't talked yet. Once I talk to Mike, I'll let you guys know. But
okay, appreciate that. Okay, yeah, it's one of those things. You know, I think LeBron James said this some years ago that he'd rather play with veterans than young guys. I think that Mike Tomlin might have a little bit of that. Like he wants to play with veteran quarterbacks and know what they're doing, and you don't have to lead them or teach them much. They can kind of just take the reins and go off and be what they need to be, in a sense, because hence why he keeps kicking the can down the road with these veterans. You know, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, just to name a few. So yeah, it's gonna be one of those things where he just didn't want. I always go back to that quote he said to Chase Young. He said, "I don't never want to be bad enough to draft a guy like you that high." You know, so he never want to be picking high in the draft. So he always wants to be winning, always wants to be above 500, always want to make the playoffs. But that's where the buck stops.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because Mike Tomlin, one of his famous euphemisms that he does, or one of the things that he said on one of his podcasts, was that he finds it funny when coaches resist the art of coaching. So, like a lot of times, guys will say, coaches will say, this guy can't do this or this guy can't do that when it's talking about the draft, and he's like, well, that's what coaching is for, to coach him to do that. And so it's ironic that he kind of, like you said, never really got a young quarterback and never really had that young core to develop. And, the way the league is going, you can't really buy a roster. You have to develop it. You have to draft. Your core has to be guys that you develop. And like you said, he's never been bad enough to kind of get that blue chip guy to where you could build around. So, now maybe without that weight on the organization's shoulders, maybe they can, I don't want to say tank. I hate using tank, but maybe they'll be able to kind of, have a bad enough season that they can get a blue chip guy and start developing them. I don't know. We'll see. But I just find it ironic that was, his sentiment when, his whole thing was developing guys and the actual, fact of coaching. That's what coaches are there for, is to coach.
Gotcha. Okay. Good stuff. All right, RG, let's do the Chargers. Let's do it. Let's talk about them. Tell me exactly how you feel about what they need to do in 2026 to improve. I mean, it's clearly some obvious things on the list, but please give the fans that are watching your synopsis.
Well, definitely off to a great start, getting rid of Greg Roman and Mike Devlin, the O-line coach. I think that was step one, front and center following Sunday. There was no reason that they should have been in the building after that. And to your point, Coach, thank Harbaugh for, realizing it very quickly that, we needed to make a change here. I mean, 15 points across 2 playoff games is absolutely absurd.
Yep.
And we saw these issues all throughout the season, and Herbert behind that atrocious O-line, just willing this team to 11 wins. And also have to credit the amazing defense coached by Jesse Minter, who will probably not be here next year. So that's something that the Chargers are also probably going to have to look into, replacing the DC there. So like I mentioned, off to the great start, firing Roman and Devlin, but now you're going to have to also start to turn your attention to the defensive side of the ball. A lot of free agents this year. I think it's kind of like 25 or something like that. You have the cap space to re-sign the majority of them, not saying that you should re-sign the majority of them, but you do have the cap space to bring the important pieces back. Some of the under the radar guys, Delshon Phillips, the special teams ace. I think he absolutely needs to come back. I think you reach out to the veterans like Mack and Allen and see if they want to come back on a 1 year, another cheap deal. Obviously don't want to invest too much money in them. Cool kid. They needed to start Andre James in that playoff game is what they needed to do.
No, from the get-go, from season day one.
Amen to that. Yes, I will give you that. Yeah, he needed to be the starter. Starting week 1, and so that's leading me into my next point. Have to replace Bradley Bozeman at center, and really that entire interior offensive line. It's got to be a complete overhaul. Captain and I have gone back and forth about Slaughter or Linderbaum. Trying to get one of those two. That would 100%. Shore that up immediately. Would be an instant upgrade over Bradley Bozo.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Correct.
In fact, if you can get them both, that's a double bonus.
Well, I don't know about getting both. I you know what? I would be fine with that if Linderbaum was a little bit older and you wanted to bring him in as the vet start, draft Slaughter, have him play at guard for a bit, learn under Linderbaum a bit, and then have him right off into the sunset. But Linderbaum is still very, young for an O-lineman. O-linemen kind of have a little bit of extended shelf life. So he's still, got plenty of years under him. You could definitely sign him and not have to worry about the center position for probably another 6 years. So
I'm sorry. I apologize, Robert. It's like with your injuries that you've had there, and I'm greedy. I want Linderbaum and I want Slaughter. Okay. And hear me out on this, because you guys had O-linemen dropping. God forbid if you have the one guy drop. And for this, let's say the Raiders get Linderbaum and draft Slaughter, and they have JPJ, and one of those guys goes down. Let's say the center goes down. the Raiders would have 2 centers backing him up that they could use immediately, which is why not that you can't have your cake and eat it too, but it would be great to have that because you have the durability and the flexibility where the guard can play center. The center, you go your tiers on center. That's why I'm greedy. I want Linderbaum and I want Slaughter.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with that. You can never have too many O-line. It's the one position where you just want to have as many as you can because they are quite literally hitting guys, massive 250-pound plus 300-pound guys every single play. It's just bound that eventually you're going to get some wear and tear on them. So having those guys in the reserves to come in and fill in for them, I 100% agree, and it's something that I want to say. Yes, this year with the injuries was obviously brutal, and it shows why you need to have a good backups. But the Chargers' injuries to the O-line this year, no team, I don't care how good your depth is, when you're on tackle 4, 5, and you're on guards 4, and your center is literally the worst rated center in the league. There's only 32 teams in the league. He's the 40th ranked center. Let that sink in, people. There was 8 backups who did better than this starting center for a playoff team. That's just to put it in perspective what this O-line, what the state of the O-line was in. So I totally get your reasoning, Cap, and I fully support it. I just think in this season in particular, the amount of injuries, like the next man up mentality can only work for so long. When you're on guys that you're signing off the street, when Bobby Hart is coming off his couch and starting at right tackle for you within a week, you're in a bad way. So obviously,
you can get the guy with the stop sign on the commercials.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he might have been better. He might have been better than Bradley Bozeman. Full stop.
Yeah.
And I won't even go into the fact that my NIL was taken away from me by that same company. Just saying.
Okay.
Little shot at State Farm.
A little bit. But yeah, RJ, I shared those sentiments with you. And I'll be honest. And I think this is that moment where Harbaugh and Ortiz can make their mark and get guys that really want to get, because some of these guys that are up for resign, I want to resign them. They are a lot of the old regime guys, and just to quote unquote really build your team in your image. I definitely say that it's time to use that money wisely. I definitely agree that you spend that money on Tyler Linderbaum. No, full stop. He's 25 years old. You're talking about getting a good 10 years out of him at this point.
I didn't even realize.
Don't they have like $100 million? Yeah, no, I was gonna correct you. You're like, yeah, you can get a little bit out of him. I'm like, dude, he's only 25.
It's shocking they're letting him walk at 25. That blows my mind.
They don't have the money. They don't have the money.
Yeah, they tied it all up in Ronnie Stanley. And
it's going to be a free-for-all between the Chargers and the Raiders going at it. That guy is going to make some bank.
The Chargers have $100 million, over
110 mil.
Cuts. They can get up to 130 million if they cut the guys. I think they're going to cut.
Yeah. And remember, we get some back when we let the gentleman who's kind of freaky. We get some money off of that contract.
Yeah.
I won't mention names. I'll just leave it at that.
I was going to say too, the Raiders. The only reason why they're not higher in cap is because of that 30 mil in dead cap they have.
Right. Yeah, because the Chargers at 103 right now, the Titans at 96, and the Raiders at 88.
Chargers
we're going to see some Patriot level spending.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Yes. The Seahawks, as good as they are, they're at 69, and the Rams are at 69 next year. That's interesting.
The Rams one is scary,
and the Commanders at 67. So yeah, they got some money.
Deferred money, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So yeah.
Question: How long was Beckton's deal for? Was it 1 year, 2 years? How long?
$10 million per year.
Yeah, it was a
robbery.
Deal.
Yeah, him and Bozeman's contract is very easy to get out of, but they just have to pull the trigger and cut him. It's very easy to get out of both their contracts. It's very team-friendly contracts, but they just need to pull the trigger and just cut them out.
Which, by the way, to drive this point home even more about Greg Roman, when you have Mekhi Becton coming out after that game and saying that he was never comfortable in this scheme for the entire year.
Yeah, I think that was a nail in the coffin. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a nail in the
I
coffin.
think he was just saying that to try to cover his own ass.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the reason why I asked is because, yeah. I mean, he had a pretty solid year with Philly last year, so that's the reason why I was asking is, and they ironically, I think they probably could have used him over there, but to get that run game a little bit more solid. So he might want to consider going back.
Yeah, I will say Devlin is a hell of a better O-line coach than what we had, so I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And
I don't know about that. With a 32nd ranked rush O-line. Sorry, I said that horribly. The last ranked run blocking O-line and the 31st ranked pass
But like you
blocking.
said,
I think you can get worse than that.
At least he was teaching technique. He
Was
might have
he?
stuck at it.
What I would say, Robert,
style technique, because that's the only technique.
RG, our friggin', I gotta say it on this one. Our fucking coach wasn't even in the building. The offensive line had to go to the running back and the quarterback on their own to get stuff done. That's what I'm saying.
All I'm gonna say, the Raiders actually put up a fight against the Texans and that ferocious D-line. Chargers, Herbert was getting murdered all week. They had to pull the left tackle out of the game because he was getting absolutely destroyed by it. I get your O-line was awful. I think Geno made it way worse than it really was. But when you have an O-line, by the way, Herbert still doesn't have a 1,000-yard rusher in his career. We're going on 3 different OCs, 6 years in his career. He's never had a 1,000-yard rusher. He was the leading rusher in this playoff game yet again for the 8th time this year because the O-line was so bad and can't run block. I get you guys had a bad O-line. I guarantee you it was not as bad as ours. I can guarantee that.
And to drive the point home, the Chargers had a vehement problem with picking up stunts and blitzes all year long. That's coaching.
Yeah.
I
Football 101.
Raiders had a better go at picking up stunts and blitzes with their O-line than the Chargers ever did. They got completely utterly jailhouse raped. And
it was awful watching that. I mean, actually, it wasn't awful for me watching that. The guys just getting killed back there with Herbert. I actually kind of loved seeing that. But the point is, when the Raiders actually played the Texans, I firmly believe, and maybe Violator will attest to this as well, I'm pretty sure that Joe Philbin was in there that week to help out that line. I think
it's funny you two are trying to argue whose line is shittier.
Hey, but it's real talk. That's real talk.
But what I was going to say, Robert and Coach, I mean, you guys, but you also said you were on tackle 4-5, guard 3-4. I mean, to some degree, they're guard 3 and 4 for a reason. You can only get so much out of them. The staff knows it. So, like I said, when the game ended, I mean, the injuries, I think, just caught up to the Chargers, and that is what it is. If they were a healthy team, hell, they might have won the West. They might have been hosting a game. That game itself might have been different. So I think where they ended up ranked O-line-wise is somewhat expected with the people you were playing with.
I mean, yeah, losing 2 all-pro tackles is definitely, going to be some changes. But if you think about it, the pressure rate was always the interior O-line from last year.
Yeah.
The biggest was the interior O-line from the last year's regime. So, last year's team. So, and you run that back with only adding Becton, who was completely utterly porous outside of 1 year in Philly his entire career.
That's just because he played around really good.
Yeah, when you got an all-pro right tackle and an all-pro center.
Yeah, you play around all pros in every
right tackle.
Right. You got all pros from
and left guard. Dickerson's pretty damn good. Basically, the whole O-line is solid.
Thank you. So that covered up a lot of his misgivings, in my opinion. So yeah, we got fleeced on that one again. Again, that's another one of those. What's the boy's name from the corner from the Patriots?
J.C. Jackson. Don't remind me. I forgot. I've erased that memory from my head. And you had to bring that back up.
Mekhi Becton gave us a solid because between him and Bozeman, their combined cap hit to cut him is $3 million.
Oh, yeah, that's nothing. Easiest cuts of their offseason.
You just gotta go. Pull the trigger on it today. Get him and get him out of the building. Yeah,
you don't
if I'm him, I'm going back to Philly.
You don't have to go home, but you need to get the out of here, man.
Yeah,
it's like about
amen.
Tell him, Cap. That's exactly it. So yeah.
Funny question now. Looking at both of our teams, looking at old linemen, I just had a quick thought. I'm like, what if they let Becton go and he comes to us? And I'm just like, I wasn't impressed because I expected more out of him too, man.
Be careful what you wish for. That's all I can say.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Well, and also be careful what you wish for with James. You think he's a savior, and I'm like, oh man, that's
we're
to Bozeman.
Yes, so bad. We wanted James. That's what we're saying. Bozeman was so bad, we would prefer James.
There are clips out there, Cap, of Bozeman making a call this season, and his quarterback is yelling no at him.
I saw that.
That's not good.
I saw that.
And when he said no, guess who came screaming up the A gap right past Bozeman?
What?
Right on cue. Like I said, turnstile technique.
Exactly. It was a freaking dumpster fire. It really was.
So real quick, all right. It's 4th and goal. You got one lineman down, right?
Lord.
Would you rather have Bozeman or Falele?
Falele all day.
Falele 100%.
Falele all day.
Falele probably will get like a holding call or something, but he will not end up flat on his ass watching.
I was going to say there's no Faleleing here. I've been told that is a word that I cannot use.
Falele is his name. I just want to put that out there. That's his name. That's his name.
I'm just saying. You said I couldn't use that or some one other show. Oh yeah, I used it. I used it on a show, and you said nah, can't use that word.
It's all about the context, Cap. You can't use it in a certain context. Let's say that.
I got your Falele.
You can't
right
call
there.
someone a Falele, but if that's their name,
right.
That's in the act of Falele, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody called you a JT, all right?
So let's wrap this up here really quick. Let's talk about the Packers. And I got the Packers in my space. Yeah, I mean, first of all and foremost, they need to get Matt LaFleur's situation ironed out. They're going to re-sign him. You know, he's up. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Buzzings around the idea that the long-term executive for the Packers moved over to the Dolphins. And they have an opening. So if their contract don't go well, he'd be calling him tomorrow to take the job in Miami. But that's prime, priority one to get him settled because again, and I believe RG made the point about how, you don't let, piggyback on what Cap's point about, you don't let an offensive guy go when you don't have a succession plan, in place. So, who would you bring in for him, that's going to be an upgrade if you do let him go. So you have to figure that part out. So once you do that, and I think in my opinion, you should bring him back. I don't think you should move off of him at all. He's built a lot of chemistry and he's brought this offense up to where it is. Jordan Love, because I'll be honest with you, Jordan Love played marvelous in that playoff game. There wasn't not his fault at all that they lost that game. He played marvelous. Just the defense let them down, and I think they were just marred by injuries. To AG's point about the Chargers, they just injuries caught up with them. No Michael Parsons, no Devontae Wyatt. A lot of players out. They linebacker came out of the game in the middle of it. He didn't return, so they were just missing so many pieces, and they gave us so many points at the wrong time. So, getting Michael Parsons back at some point. If I'm him, I would be very cautious and being very intentional about my rehab and make sure I'm healthy. Coming off the ACL because of the speed and the violence that he plays with, you don't want to mess around with having a weak ACL, because you'll mess around and hurt that or something else coming back too fast. But once they get him back, Devontae Wyatt back, bring back the core guys, and they always draft well, I think they're in pretty good position. But I do believe they need to again another group that they draft pretty well and don't have to really go into free agency for is O-line. They got to fix their O-line too. They've lost some guys and kind of been mixing, maxing, and shuffling, and it's still been working decent. And that goes back to my coaching point. Like, how did the hell the Packers seem to always figure out O-line with a bunch of guys you never heard of, and they can play O-line good in their space, but the Chargers can't get it right at all throughout the entire season with guys that have been around the league. But
coaching.
Thank you. Thank you for proving my point, Tyler. Thank you, coaching.
Message.
This is all out on his ass. But that's a whole nother conversation. But yes, the Packers, I mean, they're in a prime spot. I think they can add some secondary help, get a corner or two. I think that will help them out and from the coverage perspective, because I think that we're all saying that them losing Jair Alexander and Eric Stokes and guys that were staples in that defense was going to be a hit. They made it work with that pass rush early in the season, but when that pass rush got weak, with losing Mike and those guys, then the secondary kind of got exposed. So I think that I think they got some patchwork to do, but I don't think it's an overhaul or complete utter change that they need to do. Just fix some areas here, some quick little patchwork, flex seals on these leaks, and they'll be right back at it. And I think that they're healthy and completely whole by the start of the season, they'll be the favorites for the division again, and it's gonna be a fight because again the Bears look good. The Lions should retool whoever they get at OC.
Yeah, where are they from? Where are they from, Coach?
That's Wally Ho. Yes, while they on.
Can't make a show without the one Deschwa at least.
Gotta have it. So yeah. But yeah, I think outside of that, man, I think that it's going to be some patchwork here, but I think they'll be right back at it. But I think they should bring LaFleur back, just to quickly add in this segment here. But yeah. But good stuff though. Good stuff. Good analysis overall. But let's move on quickly. Let's go down the line real quick and let's do a quick do you believe. Let's talk about what our rolling segment in our first reaction questions to these inquiries I have from the panel. So really quickly, let's get into a quick round robin here. I'm gonna start with Dub. Do you believe that Caleb Williams' accuracy will cost the Bears in the playoffs?
Accuracy, no. I don't believe his accuracy will cost them. Maybe his decision making. I don't think it'll be a case of him missing a throw or just flat out not putting the ball where only his guy can get it. I think it might be a case of him just completely trying to play hero ball and trying to do too much instead of managing the game. So quite frankly, accuracy, no, but decision making, yes, possibly.
Okay, they've been browbeating about his overall completion percentage and his abilities to hit the easy throws and things of that nature early in the game. So I wanted to get your take on that, whether or not that was going to ultimately cost him, because I do believe that some plays a little bit of a part in their slow starts. So yeah,
and I think a lot of that is, like I said, based on. I think a lot of that is just based on him and his style of play. He's a gunslinger. You know what I mean? So he may not take the easy throw. He may not take the check down. He may not take, the throws that he's going to try to fit it into a tough spot. And a lot of times it looks like he's being inaccurate. And of course he is being inaccurate, but he's also, and he's also a guy that, he plays backyard football. So at times his mechanics may not be all the way there. His feet may not be under him, all those things like that. So, that does end up in being inaccurate passes, but I think that, that's more so decision making and more so play style on his part.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, AG, let's roll over to you. Let's talk about Josh Allen. Do you believe that Josh Allen's hero ball can carry them to the Super Bowl?
Yes. 100%. Like I said, they've been there before. They're experienced. I mean, really, the only team that has ever trumped his hero ball is not there. So got to be confident in that his abilities to carry them to the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. All right, Violator, you're up next. Let's talk about the 49ers. Do you believe that the 49ers can run the table despite all their injuries?
No, because the injuries are going to have actually caught up with them, because the competition gets stiffer each week.
Yeah. And
I think they're just going to run into a brick wall here. And Seattle is waiting on them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Only thing that kind of saved them is them being on that bye. Maybe it'd be a little bit rusty, but outside of that,
too close to those electromagnetic forces.
With that rivalry, I don't think so.
It's just softening the tendons.
Right.
Yeah.
I
think it's going to catch up to them, really, the injuries.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Yeah. Losing George Kittle in that game to the Achilles, that was brutal.
Major, yes.
That was brutal. Yeah, but it's talking about getting Fred Warner back potentially in a title game.
Opened his window.
It did. He could play in the title game if they make it that far. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. All right. Cap, let's go over to you next.
First off, the competition getting stiffer each week. That's what she said.
I knew you could do this.
Come on.
I waited until there was
I looked at you. I could tell you were about to short circuit.
I saw him perk up. Similar to a golden retrievver when they
illegal procedure on the captain. That's what it was. Yeah.
You're like a Labradoodle that saw a squirrel. Squirrel.
I did wait though for a fact.
You did. I appreciate letting him get his takeout first. I appreciate that. All right, Cap. Do you believe that Nick Sirianni is the ultimate problem in Philadelphia?
Ooh, damn, that's an excellent question. Ultimate, no. but I think that he's probably the key master element that makes other things screw up, because his decision making isn't always the greatest, but I think the players overwrite that and they overcome that. So they win despite him being an F up. See, I even cleaned it up for that. Okay. I cleaned up. Despite him being an F up, the players make things right. And I think that, just like I said, there's going to come games where they can't do everything. You know, they had a great season last year. I can't remember who they beat in the Super Bowl, but I know it was fantastic. But I know they had a great season.
Wasn't the Raiders, I can tell you that.
That was a good
Hey,
one.
You mean my rim shot or whatever it's called.
yeah, rim shot. I got it. Okay. Hey, I was there. Well, actually, I wasn't there for both 31-0 black shellackings this year, but I was in KC. I still got your son's stuff, by the way. I just remind me I got to send it or give it to you when you come down. It's over there somewhere. I got to find it. But anyway, Sirianni itself, no, because the players will do good things in spite of that. I think that he definitely, you, Coach, you said this, they go from a great OC to a shitty OC to a great OC to a shitty OC by rule, or kind of like what we're expecting.
Pattern,
Thank you. Damn, way to hit these damn words when I'm befuddling them. You know, by pattern, they're in store for a good OC, and that's why I said when Dub was saying you got one that just quit a team and is looking to get better, and I think that Kingsbury would be a good upgrade for him, because he works with people like that. He sucks as a head coach. I can say that about a bunch of different coordinators, but as an OC, I think he could work well with what he's got there. And the other thing is, he might be able to kind of like Mike White, may he rest in peace, Mike White, the former head coach. Mike White was there to stab, I think it was Art Shell in the back, and took the team from him. Kingsbury might be there to stab Sirianni in the back and take the Eagles from him too. So I think that's the best place. They just need a good OC. I think they're due for one. But Sirianni itself is not the full issue. And thank God they got Howie Roseman too.
Yeah, that's for sure. A great GM is covering up a lot of those misgivings and a lot of dysfunction. That's for sure. Because I think Sirianni. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, RG. I had a juicy one for you, and I'm gonna have to change a little bit because it actually is mute now that they made a firing today. Because my original question was, do we think that the Chargers will be held back by Harbaugh's loyalty? But clearly that's not the case, because he fired Devlin and Roman today. So clearly the loyalty thing is out the door. But so the caveat to this is that, do you believe that the Chargers defense will go into a decline if Jesse Minter is hired as a head coach?
Yes. I don't think it'll be I don't know if it'll be a massive decline. They'll definitely take some steps back though, however. And I, as much as I don't want him to leave, we can change that to when Jesse Minter is hired as a head coach, because he is going to get hired as a head coach this coaching cycle. There's 9 openings in the NFL. He's going to get one of them, whether it's absolutely insane. Had the Bills lost this in 10.
Yeah.
So, I 100% believe it will, which is why the offense is going to have to take a massive upgrade, because that defense is not going to be able to be holding teams to less than 20 points per game week in and week out anymore. They're still going to be good, still going to be opportunistic, but I definitely think, when Jesse Minter leaves, this defense will definitely take a step back.
I like it. Okay, good stuff.
You didn't mention Michigan too. That's another possibility. So just in case he doesn't want a head coaching job in the NFL, he can go back to the Michigan ties. Just saying.
I think the only way he would go back to Michigan would be if he flamed out in the NFL. I think after going into the NFL and his 2 years in the NFL as the DC for the Chargers, number 1 scoring defense last year, top 5 scoring defense again this year. I mean, I think he's well in line for a head coaching opportunity. Yeah. And if you're in line for a head coaching opportunity in the NFL, you're almost never going to go back unless you're Saban, where it just flamed out miraculously.
That was early
And-
though. He played
yeah.
in the season. Yeah.
And correct, it flamed out very early, and I think we've seen enough from Jesse Minter this far.
Oh, I'm glad because I need something to knock the Chargers down a peg or two.
I'm sure you are.
Of course. All right, RG, you got one for me before we move on?
Yes, sir. I got one for you, and this, it's playoff time, so it had to be a playoff question.
Okay.
I think I got a pretty interesting one here too. Do you believe that our Super Bowl matchup this year will be both wild card teams?
Wow. Okay. Well, I have my Rams take still bubbling, so that started at the beginning of the season. So that's one. They were a wild card team, yes.
And
Although
we
I thought
know
they were in the division, so I didn't think they'd be in this position, but they are a wild card team. So that's one. Two. Well, shoot, we got two. One, two
Texans
seed.
or Bills.
Texans or Bills. We know how you
Same
feel about the
seed
Broncos in the
matchups
past.
on both sides, 1v6 and 2v5, which is crazy, but
Hold up, didn't I say the Bills were going to make it too in my hot take? I did. I said the Bills and Rams in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm riding. I'm rolling. Bills and Rams. Super Bowl. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. That Bills on my hot take. I said I finally get over the hump.
Had to check the Rolodex. Didn't I say?
you had to play it back in the vision.
That's rewind. Hit the rewind button. Beginning of the season. But yeah, I said Bills and Rams in the Super Bowl, and I said the Bills will finally get off the hump and make it. That was my hot take. So yes, definitely the Bills and Rams are definitely making it both wild card teams. So yeah, let's ride. With Nicolas Cage said in Gone in 60 Seconds, let's ride.
Just wanted to let you know. This might be false, but I'm pretty sure it's true. Okay, the last time.
Way to preface something.
Yeah.
Right.
75% of statistics are made up on the 5% of the time.
The game was the 60% middle or 40% physical.
80% middle. 40%.
I wasn't able to find anything to contradict it, but I can't remember the last time that the Super Bowl had two wild card teams in it.
Oh, that's a good one.
I can't remember. If anybody remembers one before my time, even because I'm sure from like 2000 and out, I don't think I can remember.
Can't remember two
wild card teams.
Not two. I obviously I know
But the
I know the first wild card team who won, but I don't know if two wild cards.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, I know some wild card teams have won, but hey, that would just be the ultimate bow on this just craziness of a season that we've had if it was the first time ever we had two wild card teams meet up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but I tell you what, like Coach was saying, because he had it in the beginning, it could be two wild card teams, but those two teams are anything but in definition because of their statute.
I agree with that.
That's sure. Sorry.
Well, according to this, what AI says, this never happened.
Yeah.
Close.
Close.
It got close with the Steelers and Packers in 2010, but yeah, they got close, but it never happened officially in the Super Bowl. So yeah, it could be the first. Well, it's the league. It's the year first, right?
That's what I'm saying, man.
So why not? Why not? But I did. But the only thing I had different in the Bills and Rams Super Bowl, I had to both winning their division and being
right.
Exactly. Being on the road. That's the only difference.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the only difference. Okay. All right, good stuff, gentlemen. That is our segment called Do You Believe? So let's get into our picks real quick. Let's do cover forecast. Let's do the divisional round real quick. It's less games, so we should get to do this pretty quick as we round out the show because I got a hot take to drop on y'all at the end of the show that y'all going to love. All right, so we get into the divisional round. Let's talk about the divisional matchups, and we got four good ones here. 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Another great weekend of football, and we got a national title game on Monday night. So let's get it.
Yes, sir.
All right, going around the room. Let's start with the AFC matchup against the Bills and the Broncos. So, RG, who do you have in this matchup, the Bills or the Broncos? We're throwing out lines here. We're just picking players. We're just picking teams. Who's winning?
Yeah, I'm going Bills all the way, man. I think superhero Josh Allen. The Jags was, in my opinion, the biggest test because I feel like all of these other teams that he can face, he has the quarterback edge over, and I feel like he had the quarterback edge over the Jags too, but just the deficiencies in their run defense and the efficiency of the Jags rushing attack, I just thought it was a tough matchup to overcome. But yeah, definitely have the Bills in this one. Bo Nix, apologies, man. You haven't shown it to me yet that you can produce consistently on the offense side of the ball. And this Bills defense is fantastic. They're the best at stopping the run. So you make Bo Nix one-dimensional, with that, lack of receiving threats he has, I feel like the Bills can win this one. And I don't want to say can win it easily because that Broncos defense keeps them in every game, but this one could be a potentially coast win for the Bills.
Okay, I like it. All right, AG, who you got? Bills or Broncos?
Bills. Easy. Experience versus inexperience, and the way the Broncos have won, that's got to run out at some point.
I've been saying it. I've been asking y'all all season, when is their luck going to run out? So it's going to run out here.
Yes.
Okay.
I would think it would be closer if the Broncos had a better rushing attack. But to RG's point, I mean, I don't think they don't. I don't think that that's going to play into their favor, and it's going to end up being a Bo Nix needs to do his own version of hero ball type game, and I don't see that happening.
That doesn't bode well. Do y'all know it's a weird stat that the Bills have the worst rushing defense with the best passing defense? Did I hear that?
I mean, it kind of makes sense because if you're so good at one thing, teams are just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so that does kind of go hand in hand.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right, Dub, who you got in this matchup? Bills or Broncos?
Same as everybody else. I'm going Bills. I'm going Bills.
Okay.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, Violet, who you got?
Mafia, Bills Mafia.
Let's go, man. Smash the table in eulogy. Not eulogy. I'm killing them. Not in the eulogy, but in celebration. Let's do celebration. Smash the table in celebration. Indeed. All right, Cap, who you got? Bills or Broncos?
Well, first off, Coach Dub, like Lee Corso used to say, not so fast, but yes, it's fast. Bills. I'm just saying, you were speaking for me before I even said it, but I'm just.
I like it. Okay, good stuff. I think I had that. There you go. There you go.
Hey, if anything, I'm giving you your drops when you need to put them in.
I like it. Okay, good stuff. Well, I'm riding with the Bills based on my hot take from last second. Yeah, riding with the Bills for sure. All right, let's do the other AFC matchup: Texans and Patriots. Who you got, RG?
Give me the Texans, man. That defense is just way too hellacious. I think Drake May against our defense looked very shaky. Now, that could be first playoff game jitters. You can attribute it to that, but I feel like he is going to be going up against a much tougher defense in the Texans, a much better pass rush, as great as the Chargers pass rush was. I think the Broncos. Oh my God, what?
Rewind that one.
Yeah, rewind back. Let me start over. I think the Texans will come away with a victory here, and it's probably going to be a low scoring one.
It probably will be. Defensive matchup for sure. All right, AG, who you got? Texans or Patriots?
Pats. I'm going Pats, dude.
Ooh.
Okay. All right,
I'm riding with New England home game. I Texans do have a great defense. I don't disagree, but I think the Pats defense is slept on, and we haven't seen a lot out of Stroud and that Houston offense for me to think it's going to be like he's going to be able to get it done at the end of the game. And I mean, if you take away the 14 points Rodgers gifted to him last Monday night, totally different game. So
agreed. Okay, good stuff. All right, Dub, who you got? Pats or Texans?
I got Pats. I like the way that this team looks under this is a great head coaching matchup, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. But I love what Vrabel's doing up there. It's really going to come down to CJ Stroud. I really just don't have faith in him right now. So
yeah, I'm a little shaky.
Boom.
That too. Yeah, I agree. Okay. All right, Violetta, who you got? Texans or Pats?
Like Coach Dub just said, Stroud seems a little bit shaky under pressure. I'm going to take the Pats at home.
I like it. Okay.
In a low scoring game too.
Yeah, nail biter for sure. Okay. All right, Kat, who you got? Texans or Patriots?
Well, I just had to grab my hat, but that don't mean I'm friggin' picking them.
Right on, Tex.
That's right. Not so fast when I'm wearing my hat. I hate saying it because I was gonna go Texans on the defense, but I tell you, man, if Stroud was playing better, it would be easier to pick.
If they had an inkling of a good offense, they would be deadly right now. I would pick them to win the whole thing. I would pick them to win the whole thing.
They would have probably won the South. Let's be real.
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part.
But I'm just gonna say, yeah, it, and I'll probably get my buddy that's the Patriots, the son of Il Santos, get him in there. But yeah, I'll take the Chowdas by a little bit.
Yeah, I mean it's rough. I mean, I would say the Texans can generate more points on defense like they did last week. They definitely have a good shot at winning this game. Because like I said, their defense is hellacious, and again, they don't have, I think they have less weapons, from from Pat's perspective. They got Stephon Diggs and who else from a receiver perspective. So if you stick Stingley on Diggs, yeah, I mean,
is Nico Collins hurt?
He's
That's a
in
great
concussion
question.
protocol. He's concussion
Nico Collins is concussion. So
he won't be back, I don't think.
Yeah, it's nip and tuck. I mean, it's literally a push game for me. I mean, it literally could go either way. I really believe that it might just come back to who plays better at quarterback, May or Stroud. And I guess I got to say May in this space.
What's the spread?
Yeah,
3. Wow,
Pat's my 3.
Yep.
Really? Okay. All right. I'll roll with the Pat.
That's home team. That's home team.
I didn't mean to get into those weeds. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
I was thinking out loud right there. I kind of forgot I was on it.
Pats, but I think should I say I don't even think the Pats can hold that 3.
Yeah,
they win, but not by 3. I think it's gonna be
by
close.
2 or 1. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's float over to NFC. Let's talk Rams and Bears. So y'all know I'm picking Rams, obviously, this is my odd take. So we'll move on from me. Who you got, RG, and why?
Man, this is tough. I feel like the easy choice here is the Rams, but the Bears, man, they just, and I know it's not sustainable.
Cardiac kids.
100% acknowledge that. And after this season, it probably won't be sustainable, but they got something about them, man. They when they play at home, they got like the energy from Chicago, and I don't know. You think they're dead, and here, like the Undertaker, they just come out from the grave.
Right, there you go.
So I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Wow. Okay. We'll see. We will see. All right, AG, who you got? Rams or Bills?
Whoa. Yeah, I'm going Rams all the way.
Rams and Bears. Okay, Rams. Okay, good stuff. All right, Doug. Who you got? Rams or Bears?
Rams.
Okay,
Gotta go with the Rams. Yep.
I like it. Okay. All right, Violator. Who you got? Rams or Bears?
LA Rams.
Indeed. In the cold. Why not? They almost won in the snow last year, so why not?
Yes,
Shouldn't bother them.
Coaches gonna come down to it.
Absolutely. All right, Cap. Who you got? Rams or Bears?
I got to go Rams on this one because the Bears seem to have all of these highlight games, but 2 of them were against the Packers, right? So they're not playing the Packers again.
Very good point.
So yeah, they electric games, but I don't think the Rams are gonna do all like. First off, I love the Rams defensive line, man. They just keep hitting and hitting.
Pass rush.
Yeah.
I'll go Rams.
I like it. Okay, good stuff. All right. So last matchup, San Francisco 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks up in the Pacific Northwest. So, RG, who you got? 49ers or Seahawks?
This is Seahawks, man, all day, every day. I just don't think the Niners offense can keep up with that Seattle defense. And they truly just need Sam Darnold to not turn the ball over. I think if Sam Darnold can just have a very pedestrian game and not turn the ball over, that defense will do more than enough to get them into the championship round.
I like it. Okay. All right, AG, who you got?
Niners.
Okay, Niners.
All the way. Niners.
What? You're such a contrarian tonight, just to piss people off, I'm sure.
No, it's something about the way this is set up. They just knocked off Philly. It's the 3rd time playing a divisional opponent. It's always been a close game. Purdy is the experienced guy out of the 2. The script is set for me to have confidence in the Niners.
Okay.
Purdy is the experienced guy?
Between him and Darnold?
To a Super Bowl. Damn. Has Sam Darnold been to a Super Bowl? No.
Okay, now I understand.
Playoffs.
I mean, in playoffs. We're talking playoffs.
Playoffs? Where is it, Coach? Where is it? Playoffs?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so he got the 49ers dub. Who you got?
This is probably the toughest one out of everyone. I'm gonna go Seattle in a close one, as close as I can get. I just feel like injuries may finally catch up to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way. But I had to choose one. I'm gonna choose Seattle.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Violator, who you got? Niners or Seahawks?
I got the Hawks, man. Like I said, the injury bug is going to send everybody home early. I got Hawks at home.
Okay. All right, Cap, who you got? Niners or Seahawks?
I'll take the Sea Chickens and the bubble gum in that wonderfully nasty area below Pike's Pier thingy, or just
the gum wall.
That's some nasty shit, man. That bubble gum wall. I'll take the Seahawks and the bubble gum, or the Sea Chickens and the bubble
DNA, brother. A lot of DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, probably
That's
Pete
notice.
Carroll. I would say Pete Carroll probably put most of that shit up too. You know, I'm just
He's
saying.
probably got his own section of that wall of just his gum.
Yeah, that's just gross.
That's
All
how
right.
they caught the West Side Strangler, that wall.
DNA evidence. Oh man. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a tough one to call, man. It really is. I mean, they shut them down completely in their last matchup, 13-3. The offense wasn't great for Seattle, but neither was the offense for the Niners. They just couldn't do anything against the Seattle defense, man. That's again, Sam Brown just don't F it up. I think they definitely can win pretty easily. So I'm gonna roll with the Seahawks. We'll see how things roll. Rams and Seahawks in the conference title game. I'm loving it. All right, good stuff.
And one more pick. Just throwing it out there. I know this might not, make you happy, Cap, but I'm going with the Canes. I think they're going to win the national championship.
Ooh, okay.
Damn.
One more pick. Yeah. I know you're a Gator, so.
I know, and that's the only reason why. Remember, you cannot spell scum without I'm just saying. You cannot spell scum without But I will say that that's not a bad pick, because you got Miami playing at home, and they just been doing everything lights out. And I think that actually, if Carson Beck can take that team over the top, because the defense is there, it's going to be a matter of who shines out who in the quarterback. And I think Mendoza will probably have a better game as far as stats, but Beck might be the guy who wins.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking forward to a good game.
Man. Indiana's defense
I was gonna
is
say,
slept on.
Give me Indiana, that O-line.
Yeah.
I'm going hoo-hoo.
I'm actually shocked.
Indiana is a football school, bro. All right.
Yeah. This year, I'm hoping that it's Indiana.
Ain't no Bobby Knight here. All right. It's Signetti.
Right.
Like I said, I'm hoping it's Indiana, because man, I cannot. It'd be like living here in Tampa with those damn, fake Pirate fans. Thank God I shut their ass up quickly. But listening to friggin'
a whole year with a natty. Yeah, but a whole year for a natty. Yeah, that's crazy.
I tell you what, the guy that the big Hurricane fan that you see on TV, he gets all the TV spots and whatnot. He actually lives here.
Oh wow. Okay.
Dane Fregetti. A great guy, a tiny, skinny Mexican guy. That's not racist, because it's true. Tiny, skinny Mexican guy with all the Ibis things on. Fantastic guy, but he will be belligerent for a year if you're right, Dub. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Shame on you for going against Indiana, Dub. Shame on you, and you know why I said that.
Yeah, completely different, but yeah,
true.
That's gonna be the best game of the weekend right there, though.
I agree with that. The Monday night's going to cap it. Good games this weekend, but man, Monday night is going to be a thriller.
That's going to be the best game. Monday night.
Agreed. Okay, good stuff. All right, so let's get into our hot take segment, our fourth and final, as we get to wrap up this podcast here. So, hot takes, gentlemen, hot takes. A lot of coaching changes, a lot of guys that are looking for work here, either be fired or resigning. Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, a few OCs, Kingsbury, Greg Roman, which I hope he don't get a job ever again in life. All out there in the atmosphere. So any hot takes that you guys want to deliver? Because mine is going to be a good one. I'm telling you right now. So if you don't want to follow what I got to say, go mad.
Well, I was going to say, didn't I give one already?
You did. You did.
What was it? I can't even remember.
I'm trying to think now.
Yeah,
It
you
was so
can't-
early. It was
early.
It's
And I said
somewhere.
I did say
It was-
hot take.
It was so fantastic of a hot take that I don't even
it was
remember.
so
what-
good we forgot it.
Exactly. Look,
But I will get another one. I will
rewind
get
the
another
tape
one.
and we'll figure it out. But
No. Yeah, you figure it out and put it out as a short. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. But I think, and this is going to, I think it really is a hot take. I think Robert Saleh is going to be the next head coach of the Raiders.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be a great hire. That's worthy. That's worthy.
Yeah.
Really, I like that one, Kevin.
Yeah,
Hey,
I might be
He
wrong, but I'm
definitely
going to go out with full guns on that one. Besides the other hot take on
right.
that one,
Okay.
the one I can't
I will
remember.
say,
Yeah.
I will say, I think he definitely coached himself into another.
Absolutely.
what he- yeah,
100%.
definitely
Absolutely.
did. Definitely
Yeah,
did.
Jackson should be kicking themselves in the ass right now for letting them go. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. All right.
0 picks, guys. 0 picks. I needed to just shout that out one more time. Not a single interception all year long. He played 17 games.
And for Jets, yeah, the Jets defense, yes. With a
Yeah,
defense minded head
JCS, suck.
Yeah.
Gonna be hard to
Really
beat that one.
fire. I mean, it's just like, every time you put the fire out, it just flames up again. It just keeps rearing its ugly head. It's bad.
Yep.
It's bad in New York. It really is. All
I'll
right.
throw a quick one out there before yours, Coach. I think we're not done seeing coaches be fired. I still think we'll see another coach or two fired.
Did you care to drop a name?
Zach Taylor.
Oh, they're gonna wait this long to do it?
Just
I
because
don't
they're like, everybody else is gone. Might as well.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the whole
Hey,
division.
everyone else is firing their coaches. Let's do it.
You get out too. You get out too. We're starting over. Well, the owner is old and slow, so he might just be behind the schedule. He might be behind schedule. Okay.
I'll give you the other one too. Todd Bowles.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's not a bad take considering there's a lot of shit brewing over here in Tampa.
okay.
Damn.
He fired his OC though, so I think that might be saving him for a year. But he gave
Well,
him
you
a
know,
release.
I think it was kind of like, and God, I hate saying this. Can I use one more F, please? Please.
Yeah, we're in the 2-hour mark. Over
Okay.
it.
I was like
allowed.
fucking Pete Carroll firing those guys to scapegoat all the rest of the shit. You know, McDan, Mc something, that was the
Kelly.
special coordinator.
Oh, damn.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
fired Chip Kelly because he wouldn't fire his fucking sons. Okay.
Mm.
But he got it in the end. Todd Bowles firing the OC and the other guys was a scapegoat. And I think that maybe between all of these guys that are floating around, there could be a better head coach. They're going to say, you know what? Fuck you, Todd. Go pack sand. We got this.
Okay. All right. Well, that's
Gave
3
you
F's.
that one way, and you definitely took all of it, didn't you?
Gave 1 F. He took 3.
I'm sorry. It was bad. I mean, it
Hey.
went with the flow, though.
Passion of the take, dude. I get it. You gotta get it out. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any others?
Let's hear it, Coach.
All right. So, as you know, as the panel knows, I was the first to break the news about Mike Tomlin leaving. If you don't remember, go back 2 weeks ago, the 1:55 and 15-second mark of that video, I dropped the news that Mike Tomlin was going to resign after the season and go do TV.
Got timestamp.
I do. I got receipts.
Yeah, and then you brought it up last week when I brought it up again because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. I beat you to the punch there, buddy. To the punch. So to piggyback off that, because I think we all can agree that the most coveted jobs right now are the Ravens and Steelers, right?
For sure.
A guy that people aren't really paying attention to, and I kind of think this has been put in motion by Tomlin resigning. And I think he's setting this up to happen for the Steelers to actually, pretty much handpick their next coach. I think the next coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Brian Flores.
Wow.
Damn.
On the staff a couple of years ago, he knows
Yep.
Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin resigned just so he can flow right into it, so he doesn't have to go through the rigmarole of interviewing all that garbage. He's gonna be the handpicked successor to Mike Tomlin, and him being the heir apparent to that throne. So yeah,
I
Damn.
100% can see that.
Yep.
Yep, Brian Flores
Wouldn't be the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. And to piggyback off that, so when that nugget drops, Jesse Minter didn't take the Ravens job.
See that?
You
as
said
well.
who takes the Ravens?
Who's that?
Minter.
Jesse Minter. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Jesse Minter takes the Ravens job, and they're going to be there for a long while because they don't fire coaches.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then I get it begs the question: where does Harbaugh go? The other Harbaugh, shall we?
Miami.
I say Atlanta.
I say Atlanta. Because it's NFC. It's out of the. It's not in the same conference as his brother. It's NFC, and he can work with the guy with the money from fucking Home Depot. Sorry, apologies. I dropped another one. It wasn't meant,
Matt Ryan, now president of operations.
Yes.
You let him go in Atlanta with the guy with money from Home Depot and somebody that will work with him. I think Harbaugh goes to Atlanta. I really do.
And it's an easier lift because they got the pieces already. You got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Michael Penix is your quarterback at this moment. Got a great defense. Got a top tier personnel wise defense. You just need a few more pieces. It's a way easier.
From the quarter, yeah.
It's a way easier lift. Yeah. The Miami is way
trade for Lamar. Boom.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah, Drake for Lamar, that'd be funny. Remember they didn't want him 2 years ago. Remember Arthur Blank didn't. When he went up for you didn't want to trade 2 firsts for him. So whatever. But yes, I do believe the Harbaugh is going to Atlanta in my opinion. Actually, a tweet came out by Schefter while we were doing the show. I think that his short list of candidates is New York Titans and Atlanta is who he's going to interview with. So
Titans.
Yeah, don't ask me. I don't know. Maybe
I think that's like a Rooney Rule for him.
I think the only thing with the Titans is
he's the Rooney Rule for the Titans.
No. I'm just saying Harbaugh is using the Titans like a Rooney Rule. I got to have somebody.
I got to interview with one bad team to make it look like I was interested.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, there's another.
Hey, they are getting a new stadium though. That might be, and I mean, I don't know what their cap situation is, but they probably have a lot of it. So
they're second most behind the Chargers.
So I mean, he can basically he got his canvas to do whatever the hell he wants with in there. So,
but again,
Nashville's a nice city. But that's about it.
Yeah.
If you want to make it easier,
to see them Broadway girls. Come on.
Oh Lord.
Okay. I really think New York is the place for him, man. He's got that insane defense to work with, which is that's his MO is a tough defense. Has some good pieces on the offense. Dart, Neighbors, Scattaboo, Tracy. I mean, I and big market. I mean, he would be the center of attention there in New York. I think it definitely.
Did you guys see the report that Dayball himself called Harbaugh to try to sway him to take the Giants job?
Really?
Wait, what?
I see that.
Eli Manning and Dayball are recruiting, if you will, Harbaugh.
I'm going to tell you he's going to keep Harbaugh away from New York if they don't fire Joe Schoen.
Joe Schoen, yeah.
They got to fire Joe Schoen in order for Harbaugh to take the job. He's going to want his own GM. He's not going to want to work with Joe Schoen.
I think that was one of his demands, right?
I think
yeah. Per The Athletic, Eli Manning and Dayball have called Harbaugh, giving him a strong recommendation on Jackson Dart and the Giants.
Oh wow! Okay, there you go.
He loves Jackson Dart that much. Like, you're gonna love him, man. He's like looking at a picture of him, like you're gonna have a great time, John.
That Wolverine meme when he
that's
What could have been?
I want you to finish my vision, John.
There you go. You are the chosen one, Jackson.
But I want to know if that's true. Did Dayball do that on his own, or did Joe Schoen call him like, "Hey, Brian, hope you've been doing well, man. You mind calling John and just filling him in on the."
I'm gonna do you that favor. Yeah,
Will you train your replacement?
After you fired me, I'm going to do you favors. Yeah, right.
I was saying, if I'm Dayball,
10 mil, wire right now. I'll call him.
If I'm Dayball and I pick up the phone and all I hear is, "Hey Brian, it's Joe." Click.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
damn, Kev. Jackson Dart, Chad Pennington 2.5.
Hey, that's a hot take.
That is a hot take too. That's a hot one too. Okay, good stuff. All right, gentlemen. All right, so that's gonna do it for us, man. If you're looking for the hit squad in any facet, any place, you're looking for Commanders, Chiefs, or Chargers news, hit those guys up on Twitter and on Instagram, depending on what platform they are on. If you're looking for the NFL Nation Live crew, they're all on Twitter, and Captain Jack is on the YouTube and Instagram. Hit them up in any space at any time for Raiders news and referee news. So they'll be available to you. Huh?
And lots of F-bombs.
Yeah, that's the F-bombs you're talking to Cap, that's for sure. Yeah, just get ready for F-bombs. You're going to call Caps. That's all we're going to tell you. All right, so if you're looking for the Lockdown Divas Sports Network in any fast, we're on most social media platforms that you are available to you. Lockdown Divas Sports on all platforms except Twitter. We're Lockdown Divas there. Lockdown Divas Sports at Gmail. And we got our Patreon coming soon, so we'll look out for that. That is going to be great breaking content that we will going to bring to you in the near future. So look out for that. So as the Considerate channel, the Electric Shock Podcast for all Chargers related news. You can reach us on all platforms there as well, Electric Shock Pod. Drop us a subscription and follow on all our YouTube channels, and please help us out. We appreciate that and keep this movement going and building this business into a conglomerate of sports news and NFL network media. So yes, we're gonna keep things rolling. But any final words, gentlemen, before we get up out of here?
It'll be another great weekend of playoffs, man. Very excited for it.
Indeed.
Sure.
Looking forward to another 3 days at least of good football. But the sad part about the big picture is dwindling down to nothing. That is the sad part. That is the sad part.
I kind of miss
the so busy during the off season. There's going to be so much spicy news coming out that you won't even miss it. We'll be back into we'll hit the draft, the schedule release, and we're back in the training camp.
The coaching cycle, then boom, draft. Yeah.
Oh, I listen as a person, running a network. I'm giddy about the content now. The all-season content is going to be great. We're talking coaching hires. We're talking free agency. We're talking draft prep. We're talking the actual draft. It's a lot to cover. It is. I'm just going to be missing actual football being played.
Don't forget my St. Louis Battlehawks. Will be defending their title in the spring. I'm kidding.
What?
I don't even know if they have a title, to be honest.
What?
I don't know anything other than the name.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I thought you said St. Louis Cardinals for a second there because we're getting into baseball. That's
I'm done with them. They traded Arenado. It's going to be a bad year.
You keep hitting my spots, man. I was going to say,
that's my team. And then my other team, the Grizzlies, probably going to trade Ja. So I'm ready for the next Chiefs season.
I do. Like I said, I did get my hat today with my Kyle Schwarber stitched autographed on there, so I'm ready for baseball.
Indeed. All right, so that's gonna do it for us. We appreciate you, Ed, as always, man. Holding us down for the entirety of the show. Ed been here since minute one. We love you. Appreciate you,
minute one, day one.
And minute one, day one. That's it. Cool Kev as well. He been holding us down for the entirety of the show, man. Appreciate you as well for this 2 hour and 26 minute podcast. So yes. We're going to get out of here. We're going to be back for the divisional round breakdown, and we're going to get into the conference title game as well as any coaching hires that have happened, as well as any late breaking news. But that's going to do it for us. I'm Coach Defense. That is the real AG Alex Gibbons. That is young RG Robert Garcia. That is Captain Jack Rackham. That's the violated man himself, the man with the legend. And, of course, that is Coach Mike Dub, the mic drop man himself. So we're going to get up out of here, man. But in the meantime, between time, you got to do one thing and one thing well. You always got to remember to step up and lock it down.